Son of a bitch! Didn't go.
I hear music.
Oh, you hear it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's going.
We're
It's
going.
live. All right.
We're live, pal.
Hey, everybody, it's Tuesday. Giant Bombcast 777. That's right. You pulled the slots and you saw the 3 7s. There's a cherry. There's something that says bar. None of us actually know how to play a slot machine. We just like it when the numbers go up and the coins come out, and it's all a great time. We're all having fun. I'm your host today, February 21st, 2023, Jan Ochoa. Joining me in the casino of podcasts is Jeff Grubb.
Howdy. I'm doing great. My children, once again, are sick. It's nonstop. It won't stop.
Fantastic. We got the pitmaster himself, Jeff Bakalar.
Hey, what's going on? I can't remember the last time I wasn't sick, so I'm happy to be here in good company, commiserating with you all.
Fantastic. And speaking about being sick, we got the sickest man in video games media, because he's sick. And the good kind of sick, according to Merriam-Webster, it's like the second definition, not like
Is it really?
influenza. Dan Reichert, welcome back to the Giant Bombcast, sir.
Thank you. I think the trick here is the two fellows on here that don't have children are not sick. We're healthy as horses here. And the two guys with kids running around being germ factories or whatever, doing whatever the hell kids do, bringing it home, making you all sick.
That's true. I did like 30,000 steps on Saturday, and I felt
Holy
great.
shit. Nice.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
I Pelotoned and yogaed.
Ooh.
I saw the sun today.
That's great.
I don't do that.
Oh, well.
Yeah, fuck the sun.
What about
cold
like
out.
a mood lamp? Is that enough to feel
Apparently
like the sun?
it's not enough, but if you believe it's enough, the placebo is pretty effective. So
I don't buy the science on those mood lamps.
Oh, that's shocking.
then
Listen,
it's not gonna work on you.
What you do? What are you a homeopathic? Like, are you a crystal new agey guy, Bakalar?
No.
Oh yeah, go get Bakalar.
Yes,
Go ahead.
Bakalar is the
Get
crystal
him.
guy.
Yeah,
Out of
I'm the
everyone
guy.
on this website, Bakalar is the
He's
crystal
the
guy.
healing crystal guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a
After
keyboard made
I
out
look
of
at my
crystals.
after I look at my astrology report, I like to take a bath with crystals.
Every
What's that
weekly
Higgs
meeting,
boson
he's like,
personality
well,
test?
we need to approach this meeting differently because Mercury's in retrograde. He says that every fucking week.
So I was away on a guy's trip this weekend, and
A spiritual
We just-
retreat.
spiritual retreat of the bachelor variety, and
That sounds creepier than it probably was.
we kept saying, someone kept saying, talking about Mercury is in retrograde as like a joke. Like we were saying, like, oh, should we go now? And then someone would be like, well, Mercury is in retrograde, so it seems like right now would be the time to leave. And then one dude didn't realize we were all joking, and he's like, you guys, that's not even a real thing. Like, and we're
That's
like,
the
yeah.
joke, right?
We're like, Rob, we know. We're fucking around. We think that shit's dumb as hell.
It's always Rob.
It's
fucking always
Rob.
He's like, a planet can't be in retrograde. He's like, it's an illusion that a planet is moving for. We were like, motherfucker, you are looking way too deep into this. We all agree astrology is bullshit.
There is a concerning amount of people. It's not just like full on wackos that believe that. Like, there's like a lot
Oh.
of people. I've met people that like believe that, and we'll bring it up unironically.
No
Like, well,
shit. It
yeah, it's a
sucks.
Scorpio moon or something. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Dude,
I
you think that's the least of this place's problems? What are you?
This place, like Earth.
yeah,
I'm just,
that we believe in.
it is a stupid thing. There's a lot of stupid things, but that's a stupid thing that you can be confronted with people you know sometimes.
All right. What's everyone's horoscope? Let's go read everyone's horoscope real
Yep.
quick.
Gemini.
All right, let's do it.
All right, we're starting with Gemini. We're starting
Wait,
with
wait.
Dan.
Oh, you should have done the blind one and then tried to choose your horoscope based off the fucking description, which is really just chef.
I don't
Just-
think anything's gonna match.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, Dan, you're a Gemini, and this goes out to all the Geminis here. Has a new housemate recently moved in, Gemini? If so, you can expect this person to live with you for a while. This
Have you
is
checked your basement for snakes? Maybe got a new housemate and a snake in your
pests.
basement.
This is going to start getting warmer. I bet the salamanders are going to come back.
This is good because he or she is likely to be very loving, supportive, and able to bear his or her share of the household responsibilities. The snake is going to help out this time.
That's weirdly specific for a horoscope. Usually it says real generic just so it can apply to anyone. Like, oh, some good things are going to happen, but also this might be tough. You know, like that's very specific. Like a dude's going to move into your house.
Pretty much. Hey, you need a roommate. Okay, Bakalar, what are you?
I don't want one.
I'm an Aries.
Oh, you know, that checks out. That totally checks out.
That's a classic Aries.
Okay.
You're going to get a new hat today.
What? That'd be so sick if my like constellation just had like a black cap, you know, and
Like
holding
an
a
archer
hockey
on a
stick.
horse with a black
Yeah.
baseball, a
A
devil's hat.
minotaur with like a hockey stick and a fucking hat. That'd be sick.
This actually might be good.
Lay it
Bakalar,
on me,
'cause
Jan.
For Bakalar and all you other Aries is out there, service to others might take up a large part of your day. Perhaps on an artistic level, or maybe in the form of sharing psychic or healing energy. Don't think your efforts are unappreciated. Those you're helping may be reticent about saying anything, but your efforts aren't lost on them. Think of it like a bank. Your friends will be there for when you need them. Okay.
I'm a believer now. You got me.
Oh, okay. So today's star ratings: sex is 3 stars,
fucking
hustle
melt.
is 3 stars, vibe is 2, and success is 3. So it's like it's okay across the board.
Is
that for everybody?
Adam Sessler voice. Sex gets 3 out of 5.
Dan, your
Because in the
hustle is
Tokyo
2
Dome,
today.
it would get 6.
Yeah. Dan, your hustle is 2 today. Everything else is at a 3. Just want to let you know.
What?
Yeah.
That seems about right.
Or
Your
shit.
beard, but your beard is a 5.
All right,
So-
Thank you.
Grub, what are you?
I'm also an Aries, so can you read my Chinese horoscope? I was born in 1983. I'm a water pig, I think.
You little water pig, you.
Yeah, so I think you have to read it for the whole year. It's like your 2023 horoscope for people born in 1983.
Okay.
We're exactly 1 year apart. That is so wild to me.
Oh, this is nice. Pigs, your overall fortune will be good as long as you pay attention to your health and the risk of loss of prosperity and work hard. You should have unexpected pleasant surprises and gains. In 2023, the career horoscope for you is good. Sex is 7 stars.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, how many stars are there?
There's only 5. I just made that one up. I just made that
Oh,
one up.
okay. Okay.
Shit.
The unlucky direction for you, though, Grub, is southeast. So avoid heading southeast.
Shut up. They do that now?
That is so stupid.
That's the.
I don't know.
What does that mean? Am I just supposed to walk that direction? Like,
No. Don't face it.
I don't make
Don't.
rules.
Wait, your lucky direction? You don't face it?
It says your unlucky direction, so don't go there.
Oh, unlucky.
Don't go south.
so
Listen, I
head that
don't
way.
go southeast. I know what's waiting out there for me. It's Dave Meltzer trying to give my sex a star rating.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
Just him
Mine-
sitting there with a notepad,
It's so bad.
papers everywhere.
He's like, if this was in the Tokyo Dome, it would be 7 stars. That's right. Yes.
Mine
Have you ever had
just
sex in the
has an-
Tokyo Dome?
No, no.
Well, yeah. No, not
In
yet.
your old
It's on my-
acid,
it's on
your
my-
wild acid doing days, you never had sex in the
Yeah,
Tokyo Dome.
exactly.
That's enough for today's horoscopes. Mine is just talking about banging and holding hands, which is, you know,
Sure.
Fantastic.
At the same time?
no. Come on, this is a good family podcast. You can't do both
Yeah.
at the same time. All right. Hey, Dan, you're on the Bombcast this week, and inadvertently that the monkey's paw. You said this today in today's little quick meeting. The monkey paw curls because folks want you on the Bombcast, but because of the weekend's events, we're gonna have to talk about wrestling.
All those comments, they worked themselves into a shoot. These jabroni marks.
You done worked yourselves into a shoot, brother.
Yes.
And back HH. Bakalar, how did you feel about I mean, we don't have to talk about the whole Elimination Chambers. We could just talk about the main event. How did you think about Sami Zayn not winning?
I just think like he's someone who's gotta sooner or later they're gonna let this guy speak more in the middle of the ring with the mic. You know, like he's earned it. He's done his time. I just can't believe they're gonna put him out like that. I don't know how it's gonna work later on at the Rumble Fest, but I feel like he's overdue, right?
You kept
I think you were
almost
sticking up
saying
for
things that
Dom
made sense.
Mysterio. Sorry, Dan, go ahead.
You know,
Dom
he's-
Mysterio is the best.
How many
He went
how
to
many
jail.
tables? How many tables
Yeah,
and
he did
chairs
time.
are we really gonna make this guy go through?
We lost
before?
count. Yeah.
You know?
There weren't too many table things.
There weren't
last
any
night.
tables, I think.
What?
No, didn't Lesnar put someone? Lesnar
Oh,
freaked out.
Lesnar did. I didn't watch
put Lashley
Raw.
through a table.
Wait,
or
so
something?
can
A
you
ref?
can you educate me? Like, what was the
Yes.
wrestling thing this weekend?
Sami Zayn. Okay, you know,
Billy
Triple H
Zayn's
compared him to
brother.
Mick Foley. You know Mick Foley.
Of course. Come on.
He's not like Foley in terms of his style and ring, but he's like Foley in the way of like he's this guy that was never really supposed to reach the heights he's at now, and he has a real connection with the fans. It's similar to like the Daniel Bryan thing in the terms of like he wasn't supposed to get this popular, but also Foley in the way that he
Right.
just has that connection.
The
want
Mikey
to root for this
Whipwreck
guy.
of his generation.
He likes
if you will.
ska music.
Yeah.
He
What,
does come out with
really?
ska music. It was a big deal when he got a ska track back last week, and everybody sings the ska music when he comes out.
What's the song?
It's,
Is it
it's like
song
an
or-
original
everybody.
song. He's skanking.
Let's go.
And then there's trombones.
Yeah, a lot of horns and stuff. I think he
Okay.
skanks.
Yeah, he
Or he
doesn't
had
skank
skank at some
anymore.
point.
He used
He
to
used to
skank.
skank. Yes.
That's pretty cool. I'll have to look
He's
up.
awesome. You'd
Yeah.
love it.
Video.
It's impossible. I wouldn't trust anyone who doesn't like Sami Zayn.
Okay.
Anyway, he got to like a relationship with the family that runs wrestling, the Bloodline, and he was basically like one of their soldiers, and he made himself really important. But the guy that's in charge of the Bloodline is jealous and paranoid, and that's a problem because Sami Zayn is like the wink leak there because the rest of them he's related to. And so things came to a head, and eventually Roman Reigns, the guy who's in charge of the Bloodline, pushed Sami Zayn too far and asked him to cross a line, which is hit his old friend with a chair. Sami Zayn wouldn't do it, and so Sami Zayn instead hit Roman Reigns with a chair. And now they had to fight at Elimination Chamber on Saturday in Montreal, Sami Zayn's hometown. He was bound to win in front of the home crowd,
And then
His wife
everyone
was there in the front row.
Yeah, and then everyone
yelling at
thought,
Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns yelling at her.
oh, Roman was healing it up. It was great. And then
yes, it
everyone
was
thought
great.
his cousins who have a DUI would not be allowed into Montreal, but his cousins came anyway and interfered in the match. And one
And
of them
there's
had
discord between the cousins
Yes.
as well. One of them seems still fond of Sami Zayn. So there's a lot of Willy Woney, who's he going to side with here? It was, to put it shortly, it was maybe the hottest crowd. It's a top three
Yeah.
crowd in wrestling history.
Oh
for
yeah,
that match.
it's like up there with like Punk Money in the Bank.
Punk at Money in the Bank 2011 in Chicago.
Yeah,
Daniel Bryan, during that whole run, but it was insane seeing that, like him in the main event against Roman in his hometown, all-timer crowd.
I believed at several points in that match that he was going to win, which I know I shouldn't have, but they made me believe, which I think means it was actually as overbooked as it was. I think it was probably about right because I believed several times that he was
I
going to
think
win.
there was like a 10% chance going into it. I thought
Yeah.
there's a 10% chance they actually pulled the trigger because we're still kind of in a new creative era here, even though Vince is back. It's like he hasn't been at TV or anything. So I thought there's a 10% chance that Hunter actually pulls the trigger on it. And that was just enough to get me super invested in all the near falls. I was into that match.
yeah. They were cutting away to Sami Zayn's wife, his shoot wife, too often. That I thought I don't think they're going to pull the trigger. They're not going to pull the trigger today. But Jesus Christ, there was a couple falls when he hit the Blue Thunder
Yes.
bomb. I was like,
Thunderbomb.
oh my God, is he going to finish the match with this? Is he going to put Roman away with this? And then he did it. And then my heart just broke. My heart just
when he
broke.
kicked out a Jimmy Uso interference, I'm like, why have him kick out of that if he's not going to win? I'm like, this is it.
Yeah,
But-
too many of those types of kickouts, I think.
Yeah, at a certain point, for sure.
Yeah.
I do want to give credit to Roman too, because he is just
He's
as much as
awesome.
storyline wise that he's like God mode or whatever, he is operating on a level he would just real ass
awesome.
heel heat. Here in the crowd, shower him in booze and the fuck you Roman stuff and everything. It's like fuck yeah, we got ourselves a real ass heel. It's great.
Yeah, he
it's
rules.
so
He's
good.
awesome. I won't be surprised if I think he's going to lose to Cody, so he can go take some time off. But man, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to keep it on him because he's just so good right now.
I kind of don't want him to lose to Cody now.
I think I'm kind of there too.
Kind of just want him to continue healing it up, and that just fuels the story for Sammy, for Cody. But then losing the title at SummerSlam, not as huge, right? Maybe a
Well, it's
Survivor
so cool.
Series.
I think it's so cool that I've been watching wrestling my entire life, and this is the longest world title run I've ever seen. It's so cool to see that, and you can't just recreate that. They can't just decide in a year if Roman drops at Mania that let's do that again where we have the unbeatable champion. It's no, you get to do this once every great while, once kind of a generation. You have this years long title reign, and they're killing it. I wouldn't mind to see more of it.
Yeah. Yeah. But the problem is I don't know who he goes up against next. Right? He's worked his
That's the
way
thing.
through the
It's a
roster.
summer of him killing people again. Like, yeah, I mean, we have seen that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Gunther occasionally. Bloodline versus Imperium would be really good.
Ooh, that could be fun. Yeah.
I like
Uh,
Gunther.
Also, last thing I'll say about the Elimination Chamber, Jesus Christ, Montez Ford, man.
He's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Also, Rhea Ripley, Montez and Rhea are
Montez
both
and Rhea.
just on prime. Like, they are killing it right now.
Star-making
Just love watching
performances. For folks that
Yep.
weren't already fans of them, oh my God.
Yep. Yeah, Montez, can't wait for that single run.
Grub, Dan, Bakalar, any closing thoughts on the Chamber?
Yes, I'm a big Sam. What's his name? Sami Zayn. I'm a huge Sami Zayn. He is ska. I just found out how much ska that he is.
Yeah.
Oh, you
he
thought
was
that
born-
he's a,
there was no father. There was just ska.
there was just ska.
Miraculous. Yes.
He's a sweet little Canadian ska boy. I feel like I would have a lot in common with this guy. I like him a great deal.
You would like
I
that.
will
He
now
also
choose
gets
to support
confused
him.
for Seth Rogen.
Cool. Well, perhaps
You guys
we
can
have,
talk about that all day. Let's
perhaps
just
we
a
have
podcast.
more in
Bakalar and
common
Sami Zayn
than-
talking about Seth Rogen podcast.
Yeah, okay.
Just have-
Anyway,
Just both of you try and like imitate the guy's laugh.
yeah, go back and forth for that, and that'll be our podcast. That'd be
Yeah.
sick.
I love
No
it.
words. He likes hockey, probably, right?
He has to.
I think he does. He appeared at a Canadians game. Is that a
Yes.
hockey
Yeah,
game?
yeah, they're from Montreal. I promise
Montreal
you that him and
Canadiens?
Kev Owens both like hockey quite a lot. Yes, the Montreal
Okay.
Canadiens.
He showed up and had a flag on the ice or something.
Yeah,
Good
he's got
job.
the shirt, the new Habs shirt, the honorary Hab,
What's a
honorary
Hab?
Canadian.
I saw that and I didn't know what
it's
that
French
meant.
Canadian for Canadian, I think. I don't know.
Yeah,
Canadians call themselves Habs?
I don't.
in Montreal, I think.
I don't know
Oh.
the answer to that.
I mean, I think so.
It's
I've never really
habitants?
decided.
Inhabitants,
Oh, okay.
the
So, yeah.
inhabitants.
They
So that's
zombie
what
dog-
Can't say inhabitants.
Canada?
I don't know.
It's like the.
We're
that's
Habs
what
of
they're-
America.
Oh.
Well, you're
Shut up
not.
and listen for a second. Just do that.
my
Just
strong
do that.
suit.
Just do that for 25 seconds.
Okay. Start the
People,
timer.
as for shorthand, will call the Montreal Canadiens the Habs. It is like the shorthand nickname that the league calls them, and their fans refer to the team as the Habs.
Why?
Because we are told in chat that it's short for Les Habitants. So I'm sure,
Oh, it's a French thing.
yeah, of course, they're French Canadian.
Sammy does French sometimes in his promos to pop the Canadian crowd.
There you go. So he's from Quebec, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
him and Kevin Owens.
He's
both.
from Montreal.
That's
There you
French
go.
was Kevin Owens' first language. Yeah,
There you go.
he learned American by listening to fucking Jim Ross call Attitude Era Ross. That's when he
cute.
first started getting into like learning American.
That's cute.
Someone just
He's
linked
called
a good
American,
meme of
just to really
Sami
trigger
Zayn.
everybody.
Someone just linked a really good meme of Sami Zayn talking to Chris Gethard about ska, and him finding out that ska was in fact not popular. He said, "I didn't know ska was nerdy until people started tweeting at me. You like ska? It's not 1997." And I was like, "When did ska go out?" And Gethard goes, "98."
Les Habitants is the informal name given to 17th century original settlers of New France, which is Quebec in Canada.
New France.
So they're the Habs,
Sorry.
they're Les Habitants.
Anytime. Yep. Scout.
Yep.
Not down
Big
with
Habs
Canadians.
fan.
What are you? There's nothing.
Yes, ska was cool. Ska was very cool for a while, Cyrus Raven. I'll have you know, ska, and it's coming back.
What is?
It's coming back. I'm
Is it?
telling you. Just like pop punk, ska will
Oh,
come
God.
back. Pop punk's back in a big way. Ska's gonna be back in a big
Pop
way.
Punk's
I
already on
didn't
the way
know how
out.
popular pop
know.
punk was until I went to Boniello's wedding, and my God, some pop punk stuff comes on, and everyone's freaking out. I had no idea it was that popular.
But
I guess
Bon-
among the theater crowd.
Well, Boniello is also
Makes sense.
from Jersey, so like he grew up in the same. I'm a little older than him, but we grew up in a very like heavy duty pop punk, New York, New Jersey sort of situation there.
I didn't know that was
Where it's the
regional.
Huh?
I didn't know that was regional. Is that like where Avril Lavigne's
Yeah, I mean,
from or
it's
something?
popular all over,
Avril
but like
Lavigne's
there's
from
She's
big
from
Canada.
Canada
hubs.
too.
There's big
Oh, she's
hubs
Canadian.
on the coasts for sure. Yeah.
Is Avril Lavigne a Hab?
She
She's
could be,
Canadian.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think she's from Montreal or Quebec. She's
Okay.
she's married to Chad Kroger.
No,
From
not
Sum
anymore.
41.
Not anymore.
No. Oh, she was married. I thought first she was married to the dude from Sum 41.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
And then Mr. Back Mr. Right?
Yes.
Oh,
Correct.
Nickelback. Okay, I thought
Yes.
Creed. I get those two confused all the time, honestly.
Oh,
Shoot,
don't
for
fuck up
shoot.
Creed like that. Come on.
And then now
Don't do that
she's
to Creed.
dating a dude that is like super pop punk and like
Machine Gun Kelly?
no, they're
No.
they're friends, they're homies.
Kevin Owens powerbombed him off the set.
That's true. That's true. I think that
He was in
pains-
Jackass 3. I know several, or Jackass 4. I know several things about Machine Gun Kelly.
One more thing.
That's it. I know there's two things about Machine Gun Kelly. He had a song in the new Tony Hawk.
Yes, he did.
There you go. There's 3.
It pains me to say that Machine Gun Kelly's last 2 albums are kind of okay
Oh.
because it's pop punk. He switched it up.
The
Anyway,
opinions of Jan Ochoa do not reflect that of the Giant Bomb.
hey, you're dead right. Let's talk about some video games.
I already have to pee.
Okay, Dan, I'll throw the ball to someone else while you pee.
Okay.
Fucking child.
We had a long 3-day weekend here in the States, and part of the reason Dan is here on the Bombcast today is to talk about 2 very big things, but he's using the potty. And we'll go to something that's kind of not a video game that I checked out. It is an app for the iPhone. I have no idea if it's available for Android. It's called Seek by iNaturalist. It's an app, and I've been going out on a lot of walks because of the dog and everything, and we'll go to like mildly woodsy areas. And I'll see a bunch of plants. I'll be like, man, what kind of plant is that? That plant looks like that plant. And this is just a thing. It's pretty much just like Google Lens. You hold up the phone, your camera up to something, take a picture of it, and it'll try and identify which species or genus of plant it is. I'm trying to find mushrooms in my local area.
Are you going to eat these mushrooms?
No, but I did find a type of spinach and something called miner's lettuce that there's a lot of, and my partner and I were about to try and eat it, but then we realized, wait a minute, we're in a heavily dog trafficky area.
Oh.
Odds that these have
Just
been
pissed.
peed on is very high.
Yeah.
So you're looking for hot shrooms in your area.
Looking for hot shrooms because I've heard that very expensive type of mushroom grows in the Bay Area, and I'm trying to find it because I don't know. I just want cool, expensive mushrooms to have. Not the psychedelic kind, but the yummy kind. I mean, I guess the
You're definitely
psychedelic
going to
could
bump
be
into
yummy
Mark
kind.
Zuckerberg out there because I'm sure he's looking for those too.
Yeah.
So be careful. Be very careful.
He probably has like 2 offices in like the Facebook HQ dedicated to growing his like meta shrooms, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, he hunts his own mushrooms now too, I hear. So be careful.
And then, this just got me thinking, man, we litter too much. Don't litter, guys. Just, you got trash, just put it in your pocket. Throw it away later. Anyway.
I do that all the time. I put so much garbage in my own pocket. I'm just
I
like,
do the thing. Let's say you go on a hike around the woods or whatever, and you got like a big Powerade bottle or something. You finish it, and then I do the thing where it's like I will walk around the woods with a big ass lumpy Powerade empty bottle in my like back jeans pocket rather than throw it on the ground.
When you guys get your winter coats out after summer, and you like reach in the pockets for the first time, how much trash is in there? For me, it's just like, oh my god, I like
wrappers.
just did not empty it out after the last like hike I did or whatever.
Yep.
That's
A
my
lot
gum.
of like granola bars, a lot of
Napkins.
just gum
Altoids.
in the pack in the
Oh,
wrapper. It was taken out of, that
Or
kind
like
of
an
thing.
unused aspirin. Yeah.
Yeah. Unrelated to games, that I meant to bring this up before the wrestling talk, but I just needed to say this. And I don't know if this is a sign of like me aging or whatever, but I needed to come to the brain trust here and ask if this is okay. I went to an all-you-can-eat sushi buffet in the Bay Area. It's really good. If you live in San Francisco, just DM me and I'll tell you the place. I went there in sweatpants, and then I felt so empowered. Is that okay?
Joggers or sweatpants?
Joggers.
You're good.
Okay, so they were kind of clasped around the ankles there.
Oh yeah. These.
No court in the land can convict you.
Yeah. These joints.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
You're
Wow.
sealed in.
You're fine.
You're sealed in. All of the juices and the body is sealed in. You're fine.
At this
Okay.
point, I'll go to a wedding in joggers.
You know what? Yeah. So I have a couple pairs of ones that look like slacks, and you'd have. I wore, dude.
You
I wore
gotta get me up
joggers to
with
the
those.
Game Awards. No one said boo.
Did you? I didn't
Hell
know
yes, that is incredible.
Yep, they were joggers. I think I
notice
told
that.
you.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
were they
forget immediately.
Lulus?
They weren't
Dan's
lose.
face
I
is
do have,
lit up when he heard that, everyone, just so you guys know. And for audio listeners, his face is lit up. And I'm like
They-
feeling the same way. I got to get me some of
I
these.
wore
They were
suit
like,
pants like a dork.
yeah, you look like a dork. They were Banana Republic like elastic joggers. They looked like slacks, but the ones I have now
Well,
are
I'm not a
those-
millionaire.
No, they're not that expensive. But now I'm rocking these like they look they look like complete slack, like almost they don't look like Dockers. They're not that lame, but like they just look like straight up pants. You get away with wearing anything with them.
But
These
if
like
you went so
Viore
casual,
pants.
you went so casual with your pants to the Game Awards. How come we had to go out to the mall to find you a formal hat? Because
That I was being a trendy boy. And
Oh.
you can do that. You can wear a hat with a suit. I checked it out. I vetted the whole process.
Wait.
You talk to the suit police.
A formal
to the-
hat?
Yeah, I have a formal
Yeah, he had a
hat.
hat with
yeah.
a logo
You didn't
on
hear
it,
this?
but he wanted
No,
to get
it's-
a fancy hat
it's-
for the Game Awards. But then he's wearing sweatpants.
Yeah, well, but you didn't know.
I'm not the guy to ask about this stuff. I don't understand.
So why are you talking about it?
I'm insatiable for knowledge.
Yeah, that's what it is. So, yeah, you get away with a lot of that stuff. All my jeans, I don't know where they are. They're gone.
Hard pants. Hard
They're dead
pants
to me.
are done. They're over. No more hard pants. Yeah.
This is hard for me
I
as
got
like a
pizzas
hard
on my
pants
pants.
man.
Yeah,
Pizza's on his pants.
Just look like you're about to have a sleepover or something, Dan. I don't-
They're lightning bolt pizzas.
yeah, yeah, that's cool.
Look how stretchy they are.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow. Okay. Speaking about me hunting for mushrooms and hunting for the okay to wear sweats everywhere now and just renounce my hard denim lifestyle that I've been leading for the past 30 years. Jeff Grubb, you have been hunting people in Hitman Freelancer mode.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot more of this. First of all, it's really great on Steam Deck, and I've just
Ooh.
every chance I get, I've been playing it on Steam Deck, and it's like, oh yeah, that's great. And I've been having some pretty good runs. It is there was one run early on where I'm like, oh, I get why everyone says this is hard. It put me in it's like the school that has all the military guys in. I can't remember where this is.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
Marrakesh. Marrakesh
From the
I
first
think.
game or the first of the
Marrakesh?
trilogy, right? Yeah.
Yes, yeah, Marrakesh, yeah, whatever it is. And then I'm in this corner. There's a locked door, and then there's like 2 windows I can go in, and each of those rooms have just a bunch of guys in it. I'm like, man, what do I even do here? And I'm like, I wish I could go back and really figure that out, but I screwed it up right away. And then that was one where everyone was warned. That's why it was so hard. So if you fail that, it's basically an automatic failure. But since then, I've had a lot of pretty decent runs that have gone into at least the second tier of what it is it's the freelancer mode. So it's a roguelite and it's procedurally generated in terms of who you're going after. And the first tier is there's 2 missions, and then the third, and that's the showdown. And if you get past that, you go to the next tier, and then there's 3 missions in a showdown tier. And I've gotten to that second tier a bunch of times now. It's pretty easy to do. Getting to that third tier is still pretty difficult for me, and I've never been to the final tier. And I'm trying to see, is this going to be like other roguelite games where I am slowly building up what I can bring with me into a level? And that does 2 things, I'm hoping. 1, it does give me more options. And 2, it gives me the sort of placebo effect of, I have more things to do here, so I'm going to be better off. But what is really happening is I'm learning these levels even more because I'm playing them over so much. And I'm learning the rules of this mode, the specific mode, even more. And so I'm actually just getting better at the game. But I'm like just telling myself, oh, it's because I've unlocked all these extra things. But so far I'm making slow progress, and it's just incredible. It's such a good idea for this game.
Is it safe to assume, Grubb, you're adjusting your play style of how you're playing Freelancer mode versus just regular Hitman because the stakes are higher?
Yeah, you have to, and I think it's one of the best things about it because you play the base game, you play the story mode, and you should be save scumming in that. Like that is the way to play that game. Save scum all to hell. Get yourself in a good position, save scum, and then complete all the challenges and get a quick level 20 mastery. That's great. And then they provided other ways of playing the game where you can't save scum, and that was the elusive targets, which is like a really good idea. Where every once in a while they're going to give you a target, and if you get killed or if you get caught, you failed and you can't ever try it again. So it's like, okay, that's a high stakes mode. And I really like that, but it was pretty limited in terms of it's set up one way and you can play it once. And if you mess up, it's gone and you can't play it again. And that there's something to that. But this mode is like, well, this takes those same sort of feelings and then builds on it. And then the stakes just continue to build as you go further and further down these tiers to the point where if you are in that 3rd or 4th tier, you like the idea of messing up is so like intense, because at any moment, like if you lose it all, you got to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
And then you know, at the same time though, you are making some other progress, but just that you have to change the way you play, and you have to change, like really assess the situation in a way that the game always provided. Like it was always there. You always could have done this, but it was fun to just run in, cause havoc, blow stuff up, get into a gunfight, and you know, whatever. Or you could learn the perfect path for the setup story missions, where it's like, no, I'm going to get Silent Assassin without ever changing out of my tuxedo. But that's like a very prescribed path, and none of that exists here. You have to react every time separately, and it's incredible.
It really does help in terms of learning the maps, because like as many times as I've played Sapienza or Paris or all these maps, it's so cool to load into it and be like, oh, I'm here. Oh, I'm a cook. I'm down. Oh, I'm down here. I never come down here. It's like you just kind of realize like you probably unconsciously are going in the same types of places when you play through the story mode. And so just starting in a random location every time has really like opened up those maps for me. And like you said, the not necessarily this, I guess the stress, but the stakes as you go farther are just so much more. And like, let's say you bring in a gun, like I got this super rare gun and I'm deep into a run, so I want to bring this in here. I want to try it out. But if you leave it there, if you have to ditch it for whatever reason, it's like, fuck, I left that in the level. Like I just don't have that
and lose it. Yeah. I mean, getting a sniper rifle, there's so many challenges to do with sniper rifles. And I like finally got one, and it was even silenced. I'm like, this is great. This is going to be my gun. But whenever I take it in, there's a part of me that's like, man, I'm making a big risk. I'm taking a big risk here, where if I lose this, I'm basically going back to scratch. And anytime a sniper challenge comes up, I'm just not going to have this at my disposal, and I'm going to have to hope I can buy one. I have gotten to a point where I have a lot of like mercies or whatever they're called, mercenary coins. And like up to 20,000. So I could buy something, but even then it's like, do I want to spend all my money in one go on this weapon here when I wasn't really planning on doing this going into the mission? There's just so many variables to consider. It has kept me on my toes, and it has taken this game that really felt like it was going to have a forever life. It seems like this is something that people can play forever. Well, they've taken that and they've made the promise here where it's like, yes, you are going to be able to play this forever, and we're going to meet you halfway on that and provide all these excellent ways with interacting with this game. I'm just like blown away by it.
Yeah. And it was the right time too. They've got 3 games now filled with maps and DLC maps and everything. It's been a while since Hitman 3 came out. So it's like, it almost feels like just like a new life for this series. Like, put it all in that launcher, give it that World of Assassination package. Yeah,
the new name, it just feels like this new product.
Yeah, and imagine if you haven't ever played this trilogy and you decide to pick it up now, the breadth of content that you have is just fucking unreal.
Yeah, I really hope that we hear a couple years from now, oh yeah, that game, like more people playing it now than they were like 2 years ago. I think that's a real possibility for this thing, even without it seeming like they're going to do many more big updates for this game, especially because they have that Dragon RPG that they're working on, and the 007 game.
Dragon RPG?
Yeah, they're working on some like partner game with Microsoft. This is like a rumor for a long time ago. I haven't heard much about it since, but they have some like RPG that's going to be kind of Diablo inspired, but it was going to be like very big budget, but who knows?
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I would just trust IOI with virtually any and everything at this point. You know, it's eventually going to stick the landing, even if it comes out just like mildly questionable. Not saying that any of like the new Hitman trilogy has, but just like some modes just like, oh, that's interesting, but then eventually just fucking catches a storm, snowballs into something great. Hitman's amazing. I didn't think I'd continue to be having Hitman occupy my brain space in 2023. Speaking about brain space, I feel like this game occupies a lot of Jeff Grubb's brain space. You finished for how many times now? What number is this, Grubb? Finishing Metroid Prime.
Yes, I'm actually at the very end. I've got like 2 more artifacts to find and then do the final boss. But I'm gonna finish it probably today. This will be like the 4th time I think I finished it.
Wow.
Definitely, 4th or maybe like going to 5. It's a game I like a lot. I'll definitely play it, but I always we'll play it for a couple hours and then move on. It's been nice to have a really good reason to just stick with it and play it, and know that if I'm playing, a bunch of other people are finishing it, we can talk about it all. Man, it's very good. It's so I'm at the part where it's at the end, and I guess it's spoilers for Metroid Prime, but there's an artifact hunt at the end of the game. So you get all the upgrades basically, and at the end of the game, there's these 12 artifacts you need to go collect from all these disparate parts of the places around the map. And I can imagine a lot of people being like, oh, there's a lot of backtracking here. This isn't fun. But for me, it's like, no, I'm a master of this world now. I have all of the knowledge about how to get around, and I have all of these abilities. I got the hook shot, and I've got the phazon suit. Almost nothing can hurt me. So it's like now it's like after all this time spent trying to occasionally tiptoe around or just like figure out what this place even is. Well, now that mental map's all built, and now I can execute on it, and it's just I think it's really a really good idea for the end of a big especially a 3D Metroidvania game, because the art is incredible. Getting a chance to go back and check it all out has been fantastic.
I'm continually impressed each time I fire it up. And would it be silly to do a spoiler cast for Metroid Prime in the year 2023?
No,
I think it would be welcome, because I think a lot of people don't realize the depth of that game's storytelling, because it's all happening in scan logs and Chozo ruins and things like that. But there's a lot of cool stuff happening in there. I mean, one of the best bits, and again, like small spoilers, but the space pirates are trying to investigate Samus Aran's technology, and there's a really, really fun log about them trying to get morph ball technology to work. And I won't say any more, but there's like some cool pictures about things going wrong for them, or some words that illustrate what went wrong for them. So and like that's such a nice touch, such a cool thing, and it really brings the world to life, even with AI enemies that are usually like the space pirates. They're dumb as rocks. But like the whole world just feels more alive because of all this flavor text along the side.
I guess I just never. I love the scanning. I think I like the idea of like
that's
finding
fine.
those
You don't
things.
have to engage with it. Yeah.
Well, no, but like I'm curious. I didn't even know it had like a good story. Because like I've played it probably 3 or 4 times to completion, and like gun to my head, I couldn't tell you space pirates. That's about the extent of what I could tell you. I'd be interested to like read a wiki page about the story.
Mm-hmm. Forgive my ignorance here with the overall Metroid lore, but is everything tied together, or do these games exist in different timelines?
They all exist in a continuing timeline, but there's like, I think there's probably the occasional thing that counters something else. What's that called? When they don't fit perfectly, but for the most part, they are one contiguous story. Like, I mean, Metroid Other M aside, like that's also supposed to be part of this, but that's just made up bullshit. Like we can ignore that.
Should Other M be a Blight Club?
Oh,
it is pretty bad, but I don't know if it's Blight Club bad.
Okay.
I really did not like it when I played it a few months ago, maybe a year ago. But I didn't.
Very bad.
The cutscenes are terrible. Yes, it is.
Am I speaking out of turn here in saying, I've played the majority of Metroid games. I just don't think necessarily that the story is sort of like the highlight of that franchise.
Oh, no,
right?
definitely
like,
not. No.
You know,
It's the atmosphere.
It's the atmosphere. It's the carrot on a stick. It's all that stuff, right?
Yes, that definitely. That's why it was smart of them to like the places that they put the story in Metroid Prime off to the side in things that you can scan. That's brilliant because it doesn't get in the way unless you want to go chase it down. And so it's like they put all the cool stuff at the forefront, the carrot on the stick. I mean, that's the biggest part of like getting a cool thing, figuring out what you could do with it, like being like remembering you can go somewhere cool and do that cool thing with it. Now you've unlocked something else. And now you get another 10, 15 minutes of that process of, all right, well, now I can mess around with this, learn how to use it, remember where I can use it. And it just keeps going until the end of the game. And it's so well done.
Fantastic.
Cool.
This dog, this wind is
Now
just making
hates
this dog.
Samus is what we found out today.
She just wants to chase her in a morph ball, and Samus won't let her do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like a dog toy.
Jesus Christ, this dog. Calm down.
It's funny.
Calm down.
We had a couple switches at this weekend getaway I was at, and I could not believe grown ass men in their late 30s and early 40s all huddled around a television playing GoldenEye.
Hell yeah. Okay, you hang out with cool guys then. All right.
Well, these were my normie guys. They went out of their normie shell, and they went all weirdo Dan Reichert style, and they
weirdo GoldenEye fan. The fucking sold so many fucking systems.
The GoldenEye thing wasn't weird. They got into Mario Tennis 64.
Oh.
And we're just like, they would not stop till all hours of the night. And I was just
Cash games?
Yeah. Doubles.
Waluigi did
triples?
No, can you do? There was no triples in it, was there?
I was just being silly.
Silly
I
Billy.
distinctly remember skipping school to play Mario Tennis. Me and my friends skipped school, went to Funkland, got Mario Tennis, went back, loaded up to the character select screen, and I saw Waluigi for the first time, and I was like, "Who is that?"
I will
Immediately.
base my entire life around this character's energy, style, and demeanor.
I mean,
Well-
it is perfect. You met him while skipping school. Known rule abider, Dan Reichert, skipping school,
Not
meeting
against the law.
Waluigi.
Not against the law.
Well,
Yeah,
you're like,
well, truancy definitely is, but yeah.
You're like,
Yeah,
who's
show me the
this?
law.
Who's this gangly gargoyle human? I love him.
I love the fact that his name was Waluigi because that's so fucking stupid. And I
Yeah, it
had
is
no idea that he was going to be around as long as he was and in so many games and grow that character as much as they
And
had.
on-
The lore
In the Washington Post. Like
Yeah.
they'll never get over that
Washington
story
Post.
of like Nintendo's just whatever dishonoring Waluigi or whatever, and then he's just sitting there in the mud on the ground. It's incredible. Thank you,
I
Gene.
heard
What a
your
guy.
joke, Jan.
What a
That was
guy.
really
Thank you.
good.
Thank
The
you.
What was the joke?
Washington Post.
Oh, that's good. That is good. That's good.
That's good. I'm sorry. Stuff on that.
it warms me in my cold caffeinated heart, which I would like to switch to some type of perhaps atomic heart, and maybe Jeff Bakalar, you can. Jesus Christ, dog. Maybe you can help enlighten me on atomic heart.
Okay, I like what you did there. I'm a big fan of that segue. 10 out of 10. Absolutely. Okay. This game's finally out, or it's out today or yesterday, whatever it is. I know for a very long time, I've felt like I have been maybe, perhaps, the only person in the group who's sort of been like, I don't know what that is, but I would like to play it. I think it looks very cool. I like all the shit that they are teasing is going to be happening in this game. And it seemed to get delayed after delay. I think maybe a year and a half since it was on my radar is the amount of time in between I first heard about it and now that it's out. Anyway, I've been playing it about 8 or so hours in. Gentlemen, I really like this game.
Oh.
Yeah, I've heard
It's a
a lot of
BioShock?
positive things. It's a Bioshock. It's Bioshock
yeah,
in the
it's-
USSR.
Without a doubt, a Bioshock 2023 sort of thing, in almost every sense. Now the sort of like narrative setup is this historical fiction about the Soviet Union like coming out of World War II in a very sort of prosperous way and inventing AI and a whole sort of like network of robots, and that all goes wrong. But like it is very much like floating cities in the sky and, this sort of like, robot repair security systems and that kind of stuff. The overlappings are, unavoidable. It's just so in your face how much this is. You're at your disposal are guns and sort of like psychic powers that you control through this glove that you have. Any way you slice it, it is very much that shooter RPG sort of style. But I think Atomic Heart does a lot of really interesting things. And again, outside of the narrative stuff, which just for me, it's just not working, right? Like for playing BioShock, I was, the whole thing, the whole setup, the intrigue of like arriving at Rapture, right?
No, yeah.
Was the sort of, environmental storytelling that I don't think Atomic Heart is really hitting the same sort of beats, or at least effective and engaging beats that I am sort of interested in following down. I still think like, I'm still interested in seeing like how this world kind of came to be, but all the other sort of things that they are surrounding with it, it's lost on me. I'm just not super invested in. Regardless, it is the set pieces, it is the world, it is that sort of stuff that I think is the most compelling. This game's got a really cool style, as much as it does feel like a bit of a BioShock kind of clone in a way. It does have its own ideas, it does have its own style. There's a lot of looting going on. They basically like fast forward the looting, where you have sort of like a vacuum in your hand, and anything that is lootable just sort of sucks into you, and you just kind of like spread your hand over an entire area, and every drawer opens up and every filing cabinet opens up, and you just kind of absorb everything that
The
is
Luigi's
waiting for
Mansion
you.
method. It's very good.
Yeah,
Yes.
honestly, it's a bit of that.
Is there a button for it, or does it just are you
there
constantly
is.
magnetizing everything?
There's a suck button.
Ooh.
Okay.
So that's a lot of fun. You are fighting, especially early on, you're fighting and killing robots, and these motherfuckers have a real maniacal and very upsetting kind of vibe to them, where you want to kill them.
Are
very
they
much.
Nazis? Are they Nazi robots?
I don't think they're not. No, they don't.
That'd
they
be
don't
real
seem-
bad.
They're just bad. They just have like a look about them that you're just sort of like. You're sort of like, I
Wow.
don't trust you, motherfucker. And when you
That
shoot
sounds
them,
racist. It isn't, but it sounds racist. There's something about these robots, the way they look. I don't like it. Don't trust
yeah,
it.
well, it's okay because they're robots, so you could say that.
Exactly.
Right?
That's
You can
what
say
it
about
is.
pets, and you can say
Wow.
about robots, right? And that's fine.
That's fair.
Okay,
Sure.
it's fair. Two things that are allowed. So you just fucking like you shoot one in the head, and it just sort of like looks down at you. You're like, I didn't like that. And then
like
there's-
Terminator.
it's very much Terminator shit. You shoot it with a shotgun, and it like will recoil and flip back and sort of like stand on its like legs again, and then run and then charge at you. Really cool stuff. Really effective. Real satisfying. Like contextually appropriate damage to where you're shooting them. It's more cosmetic than anything else, but it just looks really good. Playing this game on PC with a 4070 Ti, it looks fantastic. I can't say enough good stuff about that. You get a lot of like these, it's the same as like the sort of plasmids in BioShock, where you get a freezing apparatus, you get a shocking skill, and then you have the ability to level up all that stuff as you do, as you would expect. You get this ability to sort of shoot out this polymer gel. Like polymer is a big theme in this game, sort of like bubbly gel. Reminds me of like Portal 2 when you get access to shooting that gooey bouncy stuff. All this
Is it like
this
the
is more
prey
like,
gun? There's the prey gun where you can like
it's more like this sort of like gelatinous like ooze that you can kind of shoot out, and it basically allows it can also absorb elemental damage. So if you shoot out all this gel, you could then like electroshock the gel, and then anything that touches it gets zapped.
It's very
like,
BioShock. Shoot
yeah, real
electricity into
satisfying
water.
sort of stuff. Like every room that you enter is really impressive. Everything just there's a level of polish on this game that I don't think I think will be like the most surprising thing for people, because it just I don't know. I feel like that's maybe the sort of things that I saw early on, where I was like, man, I know people don't really seem super interested in what this game perhaps has to offer, but it really is like a really compelling kind of world to kind of be in. And I
the
find
reviews
myself
are all over the place.
Yeah.
They're just all over the place. So I was like, where do you think most of the negative side is coming from? Is it from that kind of lackluster story?
I think the story is not really that compelling. I think it's just it's a lot of the same stuff you've heard before. I think, where you're just like, all right, well, I get, okay, this is this sort of historical. I think the historical fiction that shoots the Soviet Union on this trajectory of like enrichment and intelligence. You're just like, all right, well, the thing that's keeping me playing is this kind of like design of this world and all of the new rooms that you enter, and really interesting like lock picking stuff. Even the lock picking stuff I think is like kind of smart in a way that I wasn't expecting. Just stuff I had never really seen before, and I think for me that's the stuff that leaves the most kind of lasting impression is things that I am enjoying playing that I have not seen a lot of before. There's a lot of that in this game that overlaps with the sort of 30 years of games under your belt, but like, yeah, really impressive moments to this thing. I'm really enjoying it.
Is it buggy?
I've not, so since I've been playing, the game has had 2 sizable updates, but I haven't really noticed massive bugs. I did enter so the upgrade apparatus for your polymer abilities and your weapon upgrading and crafting stuff, it's like this real horny robot. It's like a red refrigerator.
I'm back
That, like,
in.
That like
Okay.
wants
This is
to
Bakalar
fuck you.
fantasy here.
Yeah.
A horny
All the stars-
refrigerator.
all the stars are lining up. This is
Be
made
still,
for me.
Tim's heart.
Where can I fuck this fridge?
My atomic heart.
My atomic heart. It like
The promise of CES has finally come to fruition.
We finally put the AV in
prophecy is
and
true.
put it together. Yes.
prophecy is true. I'm gonna get to fuck this fridge, everybody.
This fridge is keeping things cold, but it's making me
Just like-
hot.
rip my pants on. No, it's just like you're like, okay, all the writing in this game is mostly forgettable, and I don't want to pay attention to it. So thank you for whatever. And then you meet this upgrade robot, and you're like, and the upgrade robot's like, are you gonna come in me? And you're just like, whoa.
Does it actually say that?
Clip that.
Basically, they're
Oh,
like
is that the goo gun
the
thing?
the shit that comes out of this thing's mouth, like you're
And
playing this
into.
game and you're just like, what? Like this, you're like this fridge just went in such a far direction where you're like, I had no idea we were gonna get to, but yeah, this upgrade robot like just wants to fuck you.
You just
Just
got
wants
10 people just started downloading this game just now.
I mean, look,
Is it like
You
a
know, come for
romance
the-
option? You
come
get
for the cool gameplay, stay for the fuckable fridge. What's that?
Is there like it's like Mass Effect? It's like a romance option. Like you get an achievement for fucking the fridge.
Bridge.
I've yet to unlock it, but goddamn, like, and your character's almost like, oh, do I have to upgrade? Like, you're like trying to avoid it in a way. I brought up the fuckable fridge because that was the one bug that I did experience where, and it was a matter of reloading my
Is it a
save.
bug or is it a feature?
Well, this was a bug because I went into the screen and it was like all black and it wouldn't let me choose anything. But
Oh man, I'm so sorry.
yeah, it had nothing to do with the fucking.
Yeah,
Mhm.
this whole time I was waiting to ask you about what's the time to getting stepped on by a sexy robot lady or person, but knowing there's a fridge in the game, that's just
it's probably
asking
an
for it.
hour in. Yeah, it's probably like an hour in or so.
Wow.
There is a big ish build up narratively where it's very much like the Rapture introduction or the Columbia introduction, and you sort of like you're kind of like on rails for a little bit, and you're like, wow, this like a false utopia. And you go through that whole thing, and for me, narratively, it was very kind of trite. But everything else I am really enjoying. I do think this game is a lot of fun to play. The moment to moment beats are just dope. This game's it's you enter rooms that are like really unique looking, in this facility that created all these robots is really fun to be in, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm surprised that it kind of delivered for what I was looking for. It's hitting that.
It makes me look at the scene in Indiana Jones where he hides from the blast in the fridge in a completely different light now.
Mhm.
Yep.
Folks, email in if you would have relations with a
Well,
okay,
there
I
you
won't
go.
finish that sentence, Scout. You know
What
what? We gotta
fridge
keep it
do
family
we have
friendly.
at the fridge at the bombathon in the hotel room?
Oh,
I'd fuck
Smeg.
that fridge.
Oh yeah.
So I'd fuck a
Yeah.
Smeg.
Yeah.
All right,
guess so.
Dan. Speaking about new tech
Yeah.
things, PlayStation VR 2 is out. You played it? You played it? It's not trying to envelop you in anything but VR. It's just VR, right?
Be honest, Dan, did you fuck it?
I have not fucked the PSVR 2. No,
All
for
right.
the record. I put it on my head a lot. Well, yeah, I spent about 2 weeks playing a lot of games on there. We did a video. It's a longer video on giantbomb.com and YouTube there, where I showed off a lot of Horizon, showed off some other stuff. Made me realize I think I want to play City Skyline because I forgot how much I like city builders. I think PSVR is a sweet spot in a lot of ways. I think in terms of setup, I think in terms of fidelity, comfort on the head, comfort with glasses specifically. It's really good. And the one cable is not that cumbersome. You can do room scale stuff and it feels fine. And because like with the Quest 2, you have that trade-off where it's like, okay, I can just move around freely, but it's pretty weak, in terms of like actual graphical horsepower. This one, you always know where that cable is. I wasn't like tripping over it, even in like room scale stuff where I was moving around a lot. The adjusting of the head tightness is very simple. It's got this kind of turny thing on the back, and then the same thing that the PSVR 1 had, where you can just kind of slide the viewfinder thing forward and back. So it's super comfortable. Like I hate like the Quest 2 where you have to like unvelcro 3 things and it never feels quite right. This felt good on my head.
Yeah.
I'll say it does not fix the problems with just VR in general in terms of like, I don't want to be in that thing more than 15 minutes at a time or so. You know, like I like Horizon. I like, you know, I think they just updated maybe today. I think I can play Village and Gran Turismo 7 in VR, and I want to try those out. But I just know that it's like, it's just going to be these short little sessions. And is it really with VR? It's one cable. It's not super cumbersome here, but you still got to bring out this thing. You got to get there's 3 things that need to be charged and everything. And you got to put on the straps. You got to put on all this stuff. Like, do I really want to do that to do like 2 races in Gran Turismo 7? Like, I'm sure it's going to be really good and shit looks awesome in it. It was just the power of the PS5. Like Horizon, you saw in that video, like it's gorgeous. It looks great. But all the problems of VR are still there. Especially like, you know, the games too. I feel like the games have always been the biggest problem with VR. And Horizon, as much as I'm not a big fan of the full games, this is maybe felt like the most like real ass VR game I've played. I'm not counting Half-Life Alyx because I haven't played that.
Sure.
But because I know that's supposed to be amazing. But this actually felt like you are on rails to a certain extent. You know, from time to time you'll see like I can go that way or that way, or climbing up this thing I can choose which way I want to go. But the combat's good. The climbing is good. If you ever played the Climb VR, it's very similar to that. There's not a lot of stakes. You don't have to like worry about stamina meters and stuff like that. So it's just kind of a good showcase of like, wow, I'm climbing a mountain. Now I'm having this cool bow and arrow fight with this like robot raptor thing. It's definitely the best of the launch lineup, I think, because there's other stuff. There's Thumper, there's Beat Saber, there's Creed, there's the ones that existed before, except for Astrobot. They don't have Astrobot. Got to get that on there.
It's just the weirdest decision, man. I just don't understand it. It just befuddles me completely. I feel like I guess the IP of Astro has gained like a lot of favor since the original VR game.
Should be the mascot. It seems like it's the mascot.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
And like, I don't know, with how like how better those new controllers are, because thank God you don't have to use the Move controllers anymore, and how much it's tracking. Exactly. How much it's tracking your hands now. I feel like you could do some fun stuff like examining like the museum stuff in Astrobot, just looking at the old consoles and flicking the buttons. I feel like it'd be really neat, man.
Yeah. I would love that. I mean, it's not impossible. They could announce it, you know, next week for all we know. But
but I mean, they did. We'll talk about it in the news, but they basically said we got 5 PSVR 2 partner games coming up that we're going to announce. So partners, not first party.
Yeah. So that's the thing, is like, I'm really impressed by a lot of elements of the hardware.
Yeah.
I really think it's solid. I mean, you still need a lot of space. I wasn't really able to do it in here because there's just a bunch of wires and systems and everything here. So I took it to my yoga room, which is literally a blank fucking room. It's just a box. It's like it's a yoga studio, basically.
Have you heard what people said about that?
Yes. And so that's what I wanted to say, is that a lot of people told me that actually might have been why I had more problems in there, because when you were looking at your surroundings and telling PSVR, like, here's where this is, here's where the TV is, here's where that chair is, that's giving
visual
anchor
anchors.
points. Yeah, exactly. Whereas like I'm going into a blank ass room that like you can't see anything. And so that's why I was frequently having issues, especially if like light was coming in through the window, or if I was looking up to climb, which you do a lot in Horizon, I'd look up and it would just see this white ceiling with no other points of reference, and it would just take me out of the game and be like, hey, we don't know where the fuck you are. And I would have to redraw my play area a lot. But that might be a special case because it's just a big blank ass room. So I didn't have that. We shot that video for the site here in this room, and there's a lot of visual anchors, and I don't think it didn't fuck up once with that, did it?
No, it didn't.
It was
it
flawless.
maybe fired it up when a game required more space, like the bartending game.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that was the only instance.
Yep. I will say the light shield is the best I've seen. I feel like in every VR headset or sleep mask or anything I've ever used, it says, oh, it blocks out all the light. There's always a little fucking thing under your nose or something. This one, it pretty much blocked out all the light. It's got a really elegant solution for earbuds, because that can be a pain in the ass with VR, where it's like, okay, I'm going to take my over-the-ear headphones, but then that's going over the strap for my, the headphone situation can be a pain in the ass. Here, it's 2 little earbuds on wires that just go into these little like holders on the side. So you literally just put the headset on and just pop the thing out, put it in your ears.
Yeah, these soft little divots that it just fits into perfectly, but then it fits in securely, right? So it's not like it's moving around.
Yep.
The engineering on this from Sony, I think it is kind of second to none in terms of this VR space. It really is the best it's been.
It makes me want, like, I want Half-Life Alyx to come out on PlayStation because I want to play it with this headset. I've got a Quest 2 but it's like, all right, well, I got to download it, and then I got to do the link cable thing, and then it's just like there's so many things that can go wrong with with PC VR stuff. Like the Quest 2 is pretty easy because it's all self-contained, but like there's just enough shit that can happen on a PC where it's like some pop-up or something happens on your like, oh, do you want to scan your computer or something? And then it throws you out of VR or whatever, and it's all fucked up. Like I love the idea of the self-contained thing. Like, okay, this is just talking to my PlayStation, or the Quest is just talking to itself. So like that's when I want to play Half-Life Alyx, is when I can just not have to worry about all that other shit. So it's probably my favorite VR headset, I think. But at the same time, I'm still not super into the idea of VR because it makes you not feel great, even with, adjusting the comfort options and things like that. There's no slider for making a big piece of equipment on your head feel comfortable for more than 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. So until that gets more lightweight, I still don't think VR is quite there the way we all wanted it to be.
Sure.
But I think it's the best we've seen.
I think on top of, it's the Quest 2, which is the cheapest one out in the market, right?
I'm not sure how much it retails for now. It's the
Quest
newest.
2 is up to like 400, I think, right now.
Sure.
But that's still
that brought
pretty
the price
affordable.
up, right?
Yes, they raised the price.
That's right. Yeah, that's the newest Facebook one.
That's the closest I've ever been to like maybe purchasing a VR headset just for various VR stuff or whatever. And then like seeing like you use this, and like the short time Dan and I used it earlier or late last year, it's like, this might be the one that gets me to pull the trigger. But the problem at the end of the day is such a steep price tag for not a lot of games.
Yeah, like Sony sent this to me, and just to be totally frank, I think that if that had not happened, I don't think there's any chance I consider $550 for this, just because I don't see myself using it that much.
And I mean, 600
it is the
with
best
Horizon.
VR headset I've seen. What's that?
600 with Horizon included.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're gonna buy the games too. So like, yeah, if Sony didn't send it to me, I don't think there's any chance I buy it. No.
That's what's really interesting, right? Like we were, I forget who we were talking to this about, but PSVR, the original, when it came out, I feel like, well, first off, that sold very well, right?
Yeah.
Original PSVR sold extremely well.
Which is why I think we got the PSVR 2 and kind of no other reason.
Console VR, right, is probably the most approachable for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Astrobot obviously gave it that shot in the arm that it needed out of the gate. But I just don't think this time around it just feels very tangibly different. It just feels like a much different launch. That price is obviously hitting people over the head. I just am not sure who is out of the gate running to make sure they have this thing.
Right.
It just seems like a lot of the stars are not lining up in the way it did out of the gate the first time around.
Yep. I mean, I believe that Bloomberg story.
So they would line up better.
Yeah. Absolutely. 7 of them. I think I believe that Bloomberg story that they are cutting their like shipment numbers, even if they aren't cutting their production numbers, which is what Sony said. Sony said we're not cutting production numbers. So I think there's going to be a handful of these things sitting on shelves here very, very soon. Now they started off only selling it in the PlayStation Store directly. So maybe once they do start putting them in actual retail, which is going to happen a little bit later this month, I think, or maybe early next month. I can never remember exactly. Maybe once people start seeing them, they're like, oh, what is this? And they'll get interested in it, especially if we do get out of this upcoming state of play. And these 5 partner games are very exciting. Like if one of them is Half-Life Alyx, I think that goes a long way. So
what are the actual odds, though, that like Half-Life Alyx could come out? Like, I know that we've all brought it up as like something we definitely want, but what is the actual liklikelihood?
I think the odds are they're pretty good. It's not like a guaranteed thing, but they're pretty good. Valve has gone on the record saying they mostly just want to support VR overall. They want to create this like overarching thing, but if that means if supporting VR means putting a good VR game that they made somewhere else, I think they've made it clear that they're open to that. They've put out, stuff on console in the past and, in their history as well. So I think that Sony and Valve probably could have made that deal happen, but Valve is aloof and Sony is, arrogant, I think. So maybe those kind of conversations like would hit a wall a little bit, and maybe that's why it didn't happen right away at launch.
Yeah. Right.
But I still think it's in both companies' best interest to make it happen, and so therefore I think it will happen.
I think it's in both parties' interest, and I do think they are capable of keeping it a secret.
Yeah, totally. That's also true. Yeah.
All right. Speaking about keeping secrets, before we get to the game of the week, Jeff Grubb, you've circled back and checked out Among Us with the proximity chat mod.
Yes, this is a cool thing. So normally in a game of Among Us, which is like, Werewolf, everyone knows Among Us, you're supposed to stay quiet during the round. You're supposed to stay quiet, just go do your stuff, and you're supposed to like visually see what people are doing and try to be like, okay, who here is the imposter based on, are they chasing someone in a weird way? Or are they chasing me? With the proximity mod chat, you can talk and you can vocalize with other people, but you can only hear like people who are mostly in line of sight and occasionally like through some specific walls inside. So what I would do is if I saw someone standing next to me and I thought that they were being suspicious and I was alone with them, I would just begin screaming and be like, I'm with them. And I would say their name. I'm with Mike Minotti. Mike Minotti's here. He's here. So if I end up dead, everyone knows, well, Jeff was just screaming and I could hear because he's screaming. So it's proximity. It's going a little bit further that he was with Mike. And a couple times that worked. A couple times people thought I was messing around.
You're always implicating.
Yeah, well, listen, I did implicate Mike pretty much every single time. It's just fun. But like there were like parts where it's like, okay, if one of the imposters sets off the booby trap to sabotage the oxygen. Well, the two things are on this on each side of this specific wall. So if I'm on the side of the wall and I know that someone is like doing the other side, I can yell, "Who's over there? Who is like deactivating the oxygen sabotage?" So I know they are very likely aren't the imposter. So it creates all these new interesting interactions with one another, and I had a lot of fun. We were only going to play for like an hour. We ended up playing to like 3 or 4 a.m. and I just wanted to keep going because it was a ton of fun. So it's a cool. I just, in general, I like the idea of proximity chat, of being closer to someone in a game means that they are louder, more clear, and you can just hear passerbys conversations and things like that. It's a really neat thing, and it works really well in this game. It's also super easy to set up. It's this like one little application you download that's like 300 megabytes. You download it on Windows or even on mobile, and you just open it and you just launch the game with that, and then boom, you're good to go. It's really well done. So we had like 10, 11, 12 people all playing that way. It was pretty fantastic.
That sounds dope. Is Among Us VR, is that out now? Because I feel like that'd be fun.
Yes, I really want to try that because that also, I think, has proximity just built in, proximity chat. But yeah, that's out, and I'm like definitely eyeballing it. I have my Valve Index in that corner just sitting over there, not set up, and I need to get it set up.
I don't know what it is, y'all, but I am just so curious about VR social hubs. I don't know what it is. Maybe my TikTok algorithm is just feeding me too spicy of content or odd of content. But like, I feel like maybe Sony could do it in a more palatable way.
PlayStation Home VR.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, they need to end that direct or that state of play with "Welcome Back Home."
Yeah.
And then someone just like
have a VR
clicks
headset?
on the headset. No, I don't. I could probably borrow one from the office because we had.
Yeah, borrow one and let's get into something. Let's just go. Let's get into something. Let's see what's out there. Yeah, let's see what's out there.
Phasmophobia would be terrifying.
Also, yes, Phasmophobia.
It's pretty scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I only did it once or twice, but it was pretty effective.
I do love ghosts. Before we get to the game of the week, I believe, Dan, you wrote on the doc here, Tyson.
Just a short update. I know there's been no shortage of Mike Tyson stuff. I'm at the point now. I'm at the rough part of speedrunning from everything I understand from talking to the speedrunners. Well, I'm out of these glory days where I'm getting better and better. I'm learning how to make these huge leaps forward. Like I can shave off a minute off Don Flamenco 2. I can just my time. A new personal best. 2 personal bests in a day. Yippee! Like there is a great period of like you're starting, everything's clicking, but your time isn't good enough to where like you can keep hitting new personal bests. So I kept uploading new personal bests. I'm at the point now where I've got a roadblock in front of me, and I've got all the fights leading up to Tyson kind of where I want him to be, but Tyson himself, I practice for at least like an hour a day. I can't tell you how many thousands of times I've just fought Tyson trying to get the round 1 TKO, which is without a doubt, it's not even close. It is the hardest thing I've ever attempted to do. Maybe not just in video, maybe just in life. Like it's easily the hardest thing I've ever had to do in a video game. But the amount of times I've done, like the frame perfect shit you have to do over and over again. I've gotten him within a few seconds, within a few punches of finishing him in round 1, which would be the breakthrough, which would put me in kind of like that top echelon of global like punch out streamers. But until I can beat Tyson round 1, it's not possible. And the fucked up thing is I'm spending all this time, and that's just going straight to Tyson just to see if I can do it. What I have to do to fucking make it count is I have to have a good ass run leading up to him,
Across
and then
the
I have to
board.
pull it off at the end of a run, which is fucking. And do you know how my heart is going to burst out of my fucking chest if I get to that point? Like it's so like I'm not setting a lot of personal bests. I'm not submitting a lot of stuff. I'm still sitting at number 55
You've hit a wall
globally.
You've hit a wall, Dan.
Globally.
55 is impressive, dog.
Oh shit! I used to be 54. Who is this motherfucker? 4 days ago, Jordan Jones. Fucking
This
what?
motherfucker.
Who is
JJ.
this guy? He's
Yeah,
number
Jordan
46
Jones.
now.
That's my new
Fuck.
coach right there.
God damn it! All right. So
Yeah,
so
Grub.
I'm at a rough spot now. So just know if I ever beat Tyson round 1, it will be my greatest gaming achievement ever. If I can ever get there.
Yeah. Whoever goes around being like, I'll have you know, I'm training with the 55th best person in the world.
That means
No
that
one-
person's more approachable, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
You know what? Because
Well,
they're
that doesn't even work
free.
here because everyone's super fucking approachable in this. Like summoning salt is
free.
approachable. I talk to all these guys and they're all great and helpful and like it's a very approachable community, which is part of why this has been so fun. But fuck, it's so fucking hard. like
Dan,
my eyes start crossing by the end of these fucking like hours that I'm training. God damn it.
maybe you need to get like special glasses, like the tinted gamer glasses,
Yeah,
Dan.
yeah,
and then
yeah.
like that'll just complete the whole look, just like the sick
Okay.
wraparound ones.
I got my son.
Okay. I could do that. There's a guy who does blindfolded Tyson. He only
that's-
fights Tyson blindfolded, and he tried for like a long time and never did it. Now he can do it all the time. And he like owns a retro game store. And every time he finishes it, he puts on sunglasses and he goes, "You terminated, Mikey," and does a Schwarzenegger Terminator. His name is Tysonator. Like that's the guy's name. And he goes, "You terminated, Mikey," every
That's
time.
awesome.
Yeah, that guy seems
What's-
awesome.
What's going to be your move?
I don't have a gimmick.
Eat
I don't like
shit,
gimmicks.
Mike Tyson.
You need to.
And then someone's gonna clip it and send it to him.
You need to have another camera set up, and you just like look over to it, and then cut to it.
Could do that. Well, that would invalidate the run. You can't be cutting cameras in the middle of a run.
Oh, okay.
Did you just say you don't like gimmicks?
Yeah, not a fan.
Eating, breathing,
just be
shitting,
straight- just be
pissing, talking,
straightforward. Just
wrestling
be a-
doesn't like
Just be a
gimmicks?
straightforward person. You don't need no
shoot.
gimmicks needed.
Yeah, just a shoot person.
Real names, no gimmicks.
Dan
Shoot names, shoot
Riker.
names.
That's
Shoot
it.
names. Shoot names. Yes.
Yeah,
That
checks out.
Sounds like somebody's working themselves into a shoot over here.
HH. Not HHH though.
Hip hip hooray.
It's a different age.
No, he's clued in now. It's different now. All right, let's get to the game of the week, which is the second reason why Dan is here to talk about Like a Dragon. Ishin.
That game's real fucking good.
Dan, it's amazing.
How many hours and what chapter are you in?
I'm at the point you were at in the quick look now. And I feel like
Okay.
I've dumped like an obscene amount of time because I just keep racing chickens and karaoke.
That's the one thing I don't do. I wanted to be all about the chicken racing because it sounds hilarious, but I don't understand the betting.
I don't understand the betting either, but I keep making money,
Oh, incredible.
which is just like me in real life gambling.
You're just buying a bunch of tags and throwing it on a chicken and just like, I hope it wins.
Yeah, it's like, this you have a good pie chart of stats. Like, all right, cool. And it's great.
Just like, I was kind of worried that like going, back in time to like the 1860s, it wouldn't be as goofy as the modern day or 80s Yakuzas and stuff like that. But man, it's fucking goofy. Like all that stuff, all the side stuff, weird ass side stories. It does that same thing where it's like the main story stuff is deadly serious. Just this tale
Yes.
of revenge and betrayal and subterfuge and all this stuff.
Though.
And it's great. And that's the thing. I'm not a story guy at all. Never have been. I love this story. I'm into this. I was playing this for a couple hours last night. I'm in like chapter 9 or 10. I am deeply invested in the story. I'm also deeply invested in finding the shittiest thing in my inventory to give to the junk boy because he doesn't give a fuck. He's going to love whatever the fuck I give the junk boy.
I love the Junk Boy. The Junk Boy
Junk
is my
Boy's the best.
favorite.
What's a junk boy?
You don't know the
exactly
Junk
what
Boy?
it sounds like. He's a kid that just stands around and he's like, "Oh, all my friends have toys and stuff, and I don't have anything. Do you have anything?" And your guy's like, "Oh, anything?" He's like, "Yeah, I can turn anything into a toy." So I'm literally giving him like bent screws, and he's like, "This is the best toy ever!" And like he runs off and comes back to me and tells me stories of like, "Oh, the kids loved it."
When you think about
Give
the
him
real
pieces
life,
of paper, and he's freaking out.
when you think about the real life implications of Junk Boy, it starts to get a little sad because it's like a kid that doesn't have anything, and he's probably very
It
poor.
reminded me of a story like that, so I'm not going to bring down the
Sure.
mood. But yes, but no, I love Junk Boy. Yay!
But Junk Boy is so jazzed. I gave him a fish, and he was like,
Yeah. There's two different vegetable obsessed people in side stories. There's a vegetable boy who fucking loves vegetables, and you give him anything. I'm just giving him all my daikons and shit. I don't even know what it is. And he's like, oh, fuck yeah, I love daikon. Like the screen goes black and you just hear him like just taking it down. And then there's this lady. Have you met the vegetable lady, Jan?
I haven't met Veggie Lady. I've only met Veggie Boy. Veggie Boy, not as cool as Junk Boy.
She's almost like hunched over in I don't even know how to describe this in craving, and only asks for very cylindrical vegetables. And when you give her perhaps a carrot or a cucumber, she sprints away with it and comes back like breathing heavily and asking for more cylindrical vegetables. That's what I'm talking about, where it's like the main story is super serious, all this side stuff is dumb as fuck and hilarious.
It's because she probably has like a fishing boat that has a hole that she needs to plug, right?
That is probably. I don't think she said she was in a hurry because the boat was sinking.
Yeah, plug the hole.
Didn't have time to explain or anything. That's right.
The side stuff, it's just so glorious, and you could waste so much time and still feel so, I don't know, like satisfied with all of it. Like there is, Dan, did you come across the side quest with like the cult, the dancing cult?
Yes, the weird dancing people that just do the thing and yeah.
It's great. And then you just wind up joining them inadvertently, and like nothing really gets resolved until later.
Yeah, there's like logic puzzles where you have to figure out which people ate this mochi because everyone's like blaming each other. And so you have to like interview each individual one and be like, oh, which two people were guilty? There is, have you met the old lady who talks too much?
Yes.
So her whole thing is nobody wants to talk to her because she never shuts up. And so like you literally like, there's just a side quest where you just listen to her stories and she will just talk for a long time and then quiz you about what she was talking about to make sure you were paying attention. Like that's a whole side quest. Like I'll have whole sessions where I'm just doing side stuff, where I'm just like, I'm just going to run around and see what the fuck happens. And there's always just goofy ass shit happening. And then sessions where it's like, all right, let's advance the story. Let's see what's going on here.
I hate that you showed me the farming mini games because
there's a whole Stardew. There's a Stardew in this game.
It's a whole Stardew. Dan showed it off perfectly because the farming system is just the Resident Evil 4 inventory.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So you're like, here's where my sweet potatoes are going to go. Here's where my onions go. And then you make the shit, you harvest it, you see it grow and everything. You bring it in. There's a bunch of WarioWare ass mini games for cooking because you can go in and you're running a business out of your farm and you'll see like, okay, this guy wants these meals or whatever. And then you go over and you do these WarioWare things to like chop up the salmon and then, make the fire and then, flip the fish when the sparks show up and everything. You can take a bath. You can upgrade the interior.
Yeah.
You can build deluxe dog houses and cat beds. So when you find dogs and cats in the world, you can befriend them and they will like move to your farm. Like there's a whole Stardew. There's fucking chicken racing. There's so much shit. There's karaoke in the 1860s.
Yes. And the thing is, they still do the FMV style karaoke where it's like
incredible
fanciful background, or there's like a lovely woman in precarious clothing. You can also just create relationships with like some of the I don't want to say brothels, but the brothels of Japan, and it's great. It's great. You have drinking games. It's fantastic. There's so much shit in this game I don't understand.
Well, and the story too is, speaking of not understanding stuff, like if you see something in the dialogue that you're like, I don't know what Edo is, I don't know what the black ships are, these things they're referring to. If there is a term like that, you can hit the start or hamburger or whatever the fuck you want to call it button now. You hit it and it'll be like, oh, Edo is known today as Tokyo, or the black ships were these ships that were, during the American and British invasion or something. Like it's like, oh, okay.
The big glossary just built in. That's awesome.
Yeah, so if
it's
you
built
like,
in.
like Pentiment Grub. So like if there's like a term or whatever, it'll do that same thing. It's great.
That rules. That should be standard in all these kinds of games. That's awesome.
Yeah. Dan and I were talking about it in the quick look. I feel like, I don't know, this Yakuza game, or Like a Dragon, could be like a great history teaching tool. I mean, outside of some of the absurd, silly stuff, but like, like they get to actual stuff of like, oh yeah, there were gaijin coming here in Japan during this time trying to do XYZ. And then it's just like, oh, cool. Thanks for the context, dog.
Did you do the side story about the globe?
Not the globe. I helped the dude who wasn't listening to his student, and he was like, I just came here to help plant stuff.
Okay, I don't know this. I think this is a different one. But speaking of like teaching people about like history, there's this old teacher who got like gifted a globe by the parents of his children, but he has no idea how to use a globe. So he pulls you in, and so you have to teach. Like you're like spinning the globe and like pointing at a country, and you have to explain to all the school kids like about all the countries currently threatening Japan. Like Oh man, it's great. And like the thing is, when we did Beast in the East on Giant Bomb, we did Yakuza 0, which is a great entry point, but it's still an entry point to like 7 or 8 fucking games.
Yeah.
It's intimidating. And like I greatly respect Yakuza, but like I've never made that plunge just because it's like such a big story. But both with, the last Like a Dragon was a great kind of standalone thing.
Mhm.
And this one also, this is just completely standalone. If you think you like the sensibilities of this series and don't want to worry about like the breadth of like, oh God, I got to be invested for 8 games. This is awesome. And like, I'm probably 40 hours in. I think I still have several chapters left. I'm absolutely loving this game.
Yeah, I just lost a lot of time, and I have a fondness. I think we're in the same boat, Dan. Like, I have a fondness for the series. I'm just really intimidated by the whole history of it. And I understood the cheap pop during the Yakuza Like a Dragon of Kiryu coming back. And it's like, oh, that's cool. I know that guy. But I feel like if you've ever been Yakuza curious or any of this is at all enticing to you, if you want to befriend weird, odd people, or, you got to at least see Junk Boy.
The best.
I think this is the best, like, entry point to at all just try out Yakuza. And also, like, the fighting stuff, it's ever so slightly different. You have multiple fighting styles.
Get a gun!
You
just
get
go and you
a
just fucking
gun.
shoot people. You're like, the heat moves are just you shove them against the wall and just blast them in the stomach like 3
like
times.
a Beretta? Like, what do you get?
Like
you
a
get
revolver?
Like an
9mm?
old-timey revolver thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a whole
Very
crafting
cool.
thing. You can craft new guns. You're just shooting people or sicking bears on them or Kenny Omega. Like, this game is
Or
crazy.
Raul Coley.
Yeah.
Or like a
Just shoot
corgi shows
Raul
up and
Coley.
charms your opponents, and then you slash them up with a sword.
I love this series.
It's great.
Two questions. One, it was like a PlayStation 3 /
Yes.
PlayStation 4 game.
Yes.
Where are you guys playing it? And how is it running for you?
I'm playing on
I want to play it on
PS5.
Steam Deck. Basically, is the question there.
Probably okay. I'm on
I'd
Series
assume.
X and it runs fine, but there's nothing that makes me feel like it would not run okay on a Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
The other one, I've seen a GIF of 2 men wrestling in a bathhouse with steamy clouds around their
Yeah.
butt cheeks, and the guy
Yeah.
just firmly comes down hard on the butt cheek as an attack. Have you guys gotten to that part, and what's the context there?
That's
Yeah.
early on. I don't remember. Maybe I didn't activate the heat action to slap the ass or anything. I don't think I saw that. I definitely like had a sword fight or a fist fight with like steam over my nards. No, there's a story part where you're in a bathhouse meeting up with a dude and chatting, and then another dude shows up and wants to cause some trouble, and you solve it by
Yeah, like they
punching
do.
each other in the nude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
If you're looking for
Beautiful.
one game to play for a full year, or at least half a year, I'd recommend Like a Dragon Ishin.
Yeah, fuck. What are we?
A lot of time.
This is almost certainly my game of the year right now. But I mean,
Oh,
there's a lot coming out,
dang.
but
Wow.
I'm just
Okay.
loving it. I'm loving it.
That's
yeah,
awesome. Okay.
2023 is looking to be a fantastic year
It's
for games.
really good.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
I meant to bring this up, but I think Grub, if I recall correctly, Grub, you and Dan were talking about another game to try and pick up and speedrun after the Tyson saga. It's new-ish, and we're gonna cover it eventually. The speedrun scene for Pizza Tower is kind of interesting.
It looks
Let me
like it would be very good
see.
for that.
I want to see what the current record is.
It feels doable.
The record is 1 hour 14 minutes. That's a lot.
That's a lot, but I feel like it's doable. It's
You can't do
doable.
it. So you're saying you can't do it?
Oh man, I haven't seen the game in action. I'm looking forward to it. I want to.
It's great. I think you'd enjoy it, Dan. I think you definitely.
I
enjoy
would
it.
lose my mind doing any speed run that's over like a half hour because it's like if you fail at a punch out speed run or something, it's like okay, well that was 20 minutes.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree.
I'll
The-
do another one.
The people who are like, oh, the world record is 3 hours on this, and we're just like, oh god, that's
Yeah.
a lot.
No way.
That's a
I was
lot.
looking at Mario 1. I was considering Mario 1 because that's like, you can do that in like 14 minutes or something like that. And like that, but a ton of people do that. It's a very competitive
Yes.
one. But
Oh, yes, definitely. It's huge.
yeah. Looking at a few different options.
All right. Well, folks, that was the first segment of the Giant Bombcast. We're gonna go take a quick breaky break. We're gonna go turn around and look at our fridges and just have some deep thoughts. Just think some
Yeah,
things.
just talk.
Let's
talk.
Mini fridges, regular fridges, garage freezers. We're just gonna take a quick look. You know what? I recommend you do the same thing at home. Yeah, you do the same thing at home and just think about things and just exhale slowly. We'll be back after this break. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Yo. When you're operating at 100, you can get so much done. But sometimes life, work, or other things in life can keep you from feeling 100. A therapist can help you get to that 100% and be the best you. It's 2023, y'all. Don't trip about needing or wanting to see a therapist. Talking to a therapist can really help you sort out any complicated emotions or other feelings. And in general, y'all, it's great to get whatever has been bugging you off of your chest. Let it out, homies. If you've ever been curious about trying therapy, BetterHelp is a great option. The whole thing is entirely online, affordable, and it is convenient to you. You just need to fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. And if that doesn't work out, you could switch a therapist at any time at no additional cost. If you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/bombcast today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/bombcast. Yo, how many paid subscriptions do you think y'all got? Chances are you may have a bit more than you expected or know of. You might have forgotten about that free trial that you're planning on canceling. Double check with Rocket Money and you can quickly identify and cancel all your unwanted subscriptions. Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Rocket Money helps you find the subscription and can help cancel it for you. No worries about being on customer service or back and forth on emails to cancel that subscription you might not want anymore. Yo, Rocket Money was pretty eye-opening as to what your boy might have forgotten about that I was paying for. It was super easy to find those charges and even easier to go about canceling them. Stop throwing money away. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/bomb. That's rocketmoney.com/bomb. rocketmoney.com/bomb. You know, something no one ever tells you is nothing because no one ever tells you. But that's news to me, and Jeff Grubb has the news.
That's right. Hello. There's a music
Jeff
playing. I
Grubb
can't ever
has
tell.
the news.
There it is.
There it is. Yep.
How's your news, Grubb? How's your news?
You know, it's pretty good. I guess we'll start here. 10 years ago, yesterday or today, the Sony introduced the PlayStation 4. I just want to like check in with you guys, see what you guys remember of that, and like what do you guys think that console's legacy was? I'll say that the first thing I think of is the video game Deep Down, which I think is the last great bull shot. You guys remember Deep Down?
No, what is Deep Down?
I like want to encourage you guys to go just real quick and Google
I remember
PlayStation 4 reveal Deep Down. It was, yes, Capcom's it had a knight in armor fighting a dragon in a dungeon, and it doesn't look like any PlayStation 4 game you've ever seen because it was complete and utter bullshit. That game never came out. I don't know if it like turned into anything. But that's what I remember. I don't. But other than that, like it was a pretty good showcase of that system. And PlayStation 4, obviously, a very successful console.
I'm looking at a headline that says Deep Down was in a near complete state before it was scrapped. That's what I'm saying on the internet.
It might. I mean, that might have happened at some point, but like the thing that they showed looked nothing like the actual product they ended up scrapping.
Are they
I remember hating the logo
of Deep Down
of the PS4 or Deep Down.
Yeah, okay. PS4 logo sucks also, but yes.
Was this 10 years since that New York event where they revealed everything?
No, that was, I remember that was cold, right? Because I was at that, so that was
at the Hammerstein, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, so that was like closer to
they showed the hardware and everything, I think.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to remember the launch was this coincides with like the Matrix Xbox stuff, right? Where it's like the whole like Adam Boys handing the game over, like
right. That was E3,
right?
Yes, that was E3. So this was the debut event, which was like, we're gonna get Mark Cerny out, we're gonna get everybody come out on stage, show off a bunch of stuff. We're gonna show Deep Down, and then at E3 we will reveal the price 6 hours after Microsoft reveals the price at their show, and then later that day we'll do ours, $100 cheaper, and then in between there, Adam Boys is going to go get Shuya Yoshida and make a thing to poke fun at them, and that's going to be the biggest thing, and basically destroyed Xbox's entire generation in that one moment. Boy, that was that was
Yeah.
a
That was the most
wild to be there on the
lopsided-
floor there.
That was the most lopsided like console war showing at an E3 I think I've ever seen. It
Yeah.
was just like Xbox announcing a million things that everyone hated, and Sony's being like, "Hey, you know that thing that they're doing that you hate? We're not going to do that."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, and then when they
meanwhile,
did something you hate, like we're going to start charging you for online play. The buzz was so positive that they got cheers, and I'm just like sitting in there. I was there like in the press booth as part of that show, and I'm just like, they're cheering it. This is amazing. This is incredible. They're like, this is it was kind of special actually.
It was, I guess, but like I don't know. I was turned off by the whole sort of, I don't know. There's this like game of like petulant politics that was going on that I was just sort of like turned off by. Meanwhile,
Sure.
where we all fucking end up, right? Like it's all the same shit now anyway. So
Oh yeah, those consoles are like you can't tell them apart for sure. But
These
it's like in that
freaks-
moment,
and I just remember these freaks. I was like sitting next to all these freaks being like, that's right. Oh, that's so sick. It's like, shut the
Yeah.
fuck up.
mhm.
What are you worshiping a corporation, you fucking weirdo?
Wasn't
Just
that when
shut-
like
put a
Hip Hop
gamer
Gamer
down,
stood up and
Bakalar.
was like screaming and stuff? Like Hip Hop
Yeah.
Gamer like held his belt up at the Sony.
Yeah, it's
conference.
just like
All this
it was-
belt up.
no. I was gonna say that
That's
someone in
every
the chat,
event.
X-rays. It had very like it had the energy of like our de-evolution of our politics, right? Like it had
I mean,
that
it was
vibe.
definitely a reigniting of the console wars that I thought had been at least a little bit stamped out there near the end of the 360 generation. Turned out, no, it was just people were recuperating so they can come back and be really weird, even weirder in the future. But yeah, oh well. All right, let's get to the actual news. Speaking of PlayStation, they announced today a PlayStation State of Play, as we've been talking about on Game S Mornings for the last little bit. It's going to be this Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. That's 4 p.m. Eastern. Basically, they had 3 bullet points for what's going to be here. 5 new PSVR 2 titles from partners. They specified that those games are from partners. Hot indie and third-party reveals, and an extended look at Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. This sounds like a pretty low-key state of play.
I guess it depends on what those 5 PSVR 2 titles could be.
If it's Alex, hey, I'm into it. Or
I'd
Astro
love
Bot.
to see
that
Alex
would be
Navarro.
third-party.
Yeah.
Yeah, Half-Life Alex Navarro.
I
Let's
could
go.
just be Alex Navarro. It's just a drum game. It's a drum game with cats running around.
Yeah, I think
Artist drum
I
game.
think that's I think it's probably likely that they will still have 1 or 2 small surprises, but I would not get anyone's hopes up for this, especially because this comes in conjunction with them also planning a bigger PlayStation showcase, which is the thing they have had in the fall, not last year, but the previous 2 years, that were like big E3 level shows that have been a ton of fun with a ton of big things. That's coming before E3 time, apparently for them. So they're saving things essentially.
You
So
know
this
what?
is them. Yeah, go ahead.
There were some strong. It really sounded like a Twisted Metal was going to. Because I was sitting here thinking, like, okay, so what's on the table? Like, it's too early for like another God of War. What else? Like, it's not going to be like a Killzone. Guerrillas on the horizon
Uncharted.
now. Like, yeah, maybe like a Naughty Dog thing. But like, then I realized, like, oh fuck, people have been talking about that new Twisted Metal for a while. Like, that's what.
Yep.
I don't know if that fits in for this one or more kind of what you're talking about, Grub. Probably like the bigger like first party thing. Before.
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but this definitely has the sense of we told a bunch of partners that we would have a state of play to help them market their stuff. That's part of our co-marketing deal. We're paying for that. This is how we say, oh, we're paying for it by putting it on a show that we say is worth X amount of dollars. And so, yes, we'll do one of those, but we don't have any of our stuff ready. We'll save that for the bigger showcase. You're right. Twisted Metal probably does show up at that showcase, but that is one of the big things they have to talk about. They have to talk about The Last of Us Factions, that multiplayer thing. That could be here, I think. Because it's like maybe they want to launch that and get one of those live service games going. Maybe that's the one. But if not, it'll probably be at that showcase. And then it's like, what else do they have? They have a lot of pokers in the fire for sure when it comes to a lot of those studios that they've acquired recently. But will any of them be ready to actually launch something? I don't know. And then of course they have Spider-Man 2 in the fall. That's their big game this year. They will almost certainly talk about that at that showcase.
Who have they bought recently?
Bungie.
Oh, right.
They bought, I can't remember the name of the studio, but there was another one of these studios that has got started in the last couple of years and hasn't released anything yet, but was already working on a partner game with Sony. And then Sony like turned around and was like, we're actually just going to buy you. They did that with what's her name studio, who was at Ubisoft, and then she was at Google Stadia. I can't ever remember her name.
Amy?
Jade Raymond. Yes,
Jade
Jade Raymond. Yes, Jade Raymond's. Yes, no. Amy had left. Jada Raymond came and actually joined Sony and now has a studio there. But so yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that could get announced, but we'll wait and see.
Have they devoted any time to like their TV shows to these state of plays or showcases? I forget.
Not recently, I don't think. I mean, the last PlayStation thing to have a show was the Powers from what's his name, and that was that E3 show forever ago. Remember that Powers?
Wow.
Michael Bendis. I can't remember.
Oh no, that was Heroes.
No, yeah, it's like Heroes.
Save the cheerleader, save the
forever
world.
ago. You would also, I think, if you saw the segment from E3 from forever ago, you would remember it. But yeah, no, I think for the most part, they've not talked too much about it, but that might change with the success of The Last of Us, right? And if they're like, hey, you love The Last of Us, well, guess what? We're making a Twisted Metal TV show that's going to be on Peacock. So come watch that. It's not HBO, but it is Peacock, and we're going to have a game to go along with it. They might start doing that. Who knows when.
This is how Samoa Joe gets back into the WWE because he's going to be Sweet Tooth's body, right?
Yeah, on Peacock Network.
And he's going to be on Peacock, and then there's going to be a collaboration between a premium live event in the future and the Twisted Metal series. So then that's how we're going to get Joe back in.
And Sweet Tooth joins Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt.
Yep, there it is.
No, that would fit. It would
Yes,
fit.
there you go.
I like it.
Odd stories. That's all I know about Twisted Metal and Bray Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
Twisted Metal when it's good is really good, but when it's bad, like in 2012, it's that was more forgettable than bad, I would say. But
do the Twisted Metal endings, are they equivalent to Tekken endings or whatever?
Oh, good question.
they're different. They're very different, and I have considered. I think it'd be very fun to do a ranking of Twisted Metal endings. It is all the same fucking thing, where you win and you tell Calypso, "My wish is this," and he does the like, "Oh, but what if it was fucked up and not the way you meant it?" And like, like
that sounds awesome.
Every ending and the
What
real.
if my arms weren't tires? Oh, well,
Honestly,
what if they were?
that's kind of what happens. Yes. The
Hell
best
yes.
though is for Twisted Metal 1, they recorded like on a soundstage, they filmed the most low budget ass, like real full motion endings, and they are amazing. Like,
Okay, I
fuck,
think if we do
gotta do
Twisted Metal,
ranking.
we should work backwards and start with the newer ones and work back towards
I like
that. So
that.
that could be our reward at the end. Twisted Metal 1 soundstage stuff. So
Yeah, 'cause you
save
know
the
what?
good stuff at the end.
Yeah, because I don't even remember the 2012 ones, and Twisted Metal Black was trying so hard to just be like, we're fucking edgy, and then the players painted black at the end of every story.
Drunk
Like, it's like, and then we start getting real stupid, and that's when it's really fun. Like everything from, even though 3 and 4 weren't great games, they had dumbass endings. 2 has great endings, and then 1 has the really, really bad good ones. So yeah, we should do that.
Okay.
I should write that down.
Yeah, write that down.
Just yell into your Apple Watch.
Hey Siri, rank the Twisted Metal endings. Hey Siri, set alarm for 4:10 a.m. Okay, Google, set alarm for 3:40 a.m.
Don't
Dude,
forget
that is
what's the
not
Samsung one?
cool.
Alexa, set alarm for 3:52 a.m.
That's
You
the big-
can't
Alexa,
do that.
call mom. Hey Siri, call mom. Hey Siri, text mom. But poop.
Well, now I know what you're going to jail for.
Not illegal.
not against the law.
It's
Not illegal to yell at Siri on a podcast.
This falls in line with etiquette, with the law of man. What I'm doing now is perfectly within line.
Not illegal.
That's
Show me the
maybe a
law.
podcast
Show me the law.
Fucking maniac. Oh my God.
Speaking of the law of man, Microsoft has signed a 10-year deal to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo platforms. Microsoft and Nintendo have put pen to paper to make their Call of Duty deal contractually binding. The deal, according to Microsoft's Brad Smith, will run for 10 years, and it would force Microsoft, again, according to this contract, to, quote, bring Call of Duty to Nintendo players. I think they very carefully did not say release Call of Duty on Nintendo Switch. He said bring it to
the Squid Kids in Call of Duty, baby. Give me
Squid
those
Kids
Squid
fighting
Kids with real guns.
Rambo. Mm-hmm.
Grub,
I love that.
this is where I need
Yeah.
you to dumb it down for me, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Because
This
like
is
a year
where-
ago, I hear, oh, Activision bought, or Microsoft bought Activision. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. And then I hear like 3 months ago that like they didn't. And then I hear this. So like, yes or no, if Phil Spencer woke up tomorrow and said, the next Call of Duty has to be set on Mars, is it? Does he
No.
have that power
No,
right
not
now?
yet. No. So
Then how is Microsoft signing deals for Activision? Do they own Activision?
No, very
What the
good
fuck's
question.
going
No,
on?
it's actually a really good question. So they don't own it yet. they've signed an agreement to purchase Activision as long as they get approval of the governments around the world that have the rights to say yes or no to these deals. And there's three governments that are trying to step in. That stuff is just details. You don't really need to worry about it. Just know they need to get regulator approvals. They haven't got that yet. A lot of those regulators have some concerns, and they've begun putting up roadblocks to stop Microsoft from this deal from going through. Mostly that's because the deal is so big, $69 billion.
Nice.
Microsoft is doing these deals mostly because these specifically alleviate the concerns that these regulators have brought up, which is that by owning Call of Duty, they will be able to throw their weight around in a way that could hurt competition, especially as it comes from Sony. Now, there's arguments to be made about whether or not that's actually a real concern. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Regulators have stated that concern. So what Microsoft is saying is, we'll make this deal with anyone who wants it. We'll make it with Sony, but Sony's not returning our calls. You know who's returning our calls? Here's an announcement. Nintendo is. Here is a follow-up story right now. Let's get into it. Microsoft also signed a similar deal with Nvidia to bring Call of Duty and Minecraft and other Xbox games to Nvidia's GeForce Now streaming service. They just announced that a couple hours ago, right before we started this show. So they are like, hey, we've signed a deal with Nvidia. Nvidia is one of these companies that have told regulators that we have concerns about what this deal is going to mean for our competition in the cloud space, because Microsoft could put Call of Duty exclusively in the cloud on their cloud streaming service.
Oh.
And then what does that mean for Nvidia GeForce Now? Well, what it means is you're getting it for 10 years because we'll sign a deal with you. And so Nvidia says explicitly, this alleviates our concerns in this press release. So this is Microsoft speaking to regulators and saying everyone is willing to deal with us. The one company that you keep hearing from that has all these complaints is Sony, and it's not because we refuse to work with them. They refuse to work with us. So they're trying to position everything, all the pieces on the board, so they look as good as possible, as cooperative as possible, as humble as possible. And a lot of it, of course, is it's fronting bullshit for sure, but it is trying to make Sony look ridiculous, which Sony definitely is being ridiculous.
So in this situation, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Nintendo, they're like the elite, and Sony is punk.
Yes.
Oh God, Dan.
You know? Yeah.
I mean,
actually, yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
Sony is going, like, instead of working directly with Microsoft on this deal and saying we'll take the deal with Microsoft, they are going to regulators behind their backs and just saying we're going to work directly with them to try to blow the deal up. And it does often feel a little bit petty, but it's
Sony's
also
dog
Sony
never
doing what's
got
best
bit,
for them. What's
Yes, yeah. Phil
Sony's dog never got bit.
No,
Phil Spencer did though.
Yeah,
Okay, Phil Spencer got bit. Okay, he threw a chair.
Yes.
Yeah.
It still feels kind of wild that we are here, that's taking all this, but I do want to see what the reaction is from these regulators when they do see these deals like signed and agreed upon. One of the big regulators, the CMA in the UK, they gave recommendations to Microsoft saying, hey, just spin Call of Duty off and sell it separately, and then we'll give you the permission to buy the rest. And that would obviously just blow up the whole deal. That wouldn't work for anybody. But the CMA at the time said we had not considered other things, like, let's say you signed a contract for 10 years saying that you would keep it on these other platforms. So it's like, this seems designed to specifically put the pressure back on these regulators to say, isn't this enough? Isn't this good enough? Can't we just force Sony into this and sign these things, and then everyone could just be happy? Or maybe Sony can get even extra on top if that's what they really need. But Microsoft seems to they're going to go all out to try to get this deal closed. They're not going to back away from it, and that's what we're seeing right now.
So is Sony buying Bungie not as big of a deal because it's not nearly on that scale? It's like,
Yeah, I think that's the big thing there. But Bungie also, and this is, I mean, what Microsoft is trying to say they're doing with Call of Duty. But from the beginning, Bungie made it clear, and this is what I've heard: Bungie is not really a PlayStation company; they're a Sony company. Sony bought Bungie. PlayStation did not. And so when PlayStation goes to Bungie and says, do this, they're like, well, we will get around to it, but we got to also put our games out on Xbox and everywhere else first before we go and help you with your games, because we're a Sony company. But that's so basically Bungie is going to keep releasing their games everywhere. And they said that from the beginning in the press release. So they got approval because it was like, also it's only $300 million or whatever it was, or $3 billion. I can't remember.
Okay. Yeah.
Versus $69 billion. I mean, Microsoft spending $69 billion to acquire the biggest game in the world. That is the kind of thing that when regulators are saying, man, we really regret when we let Facebook buy WhatsApp. And we really regret when we let Facebook buy Instagram. And now we look like a bunch of schmucks. We're not going to let that happen again. And so when something like the big number and the big name and the big company all get thrown together in headlines, it's very easy for them to trigger, be like, this is that again. And of course, there's a lot of parallels, but it's not quite that similar.
So the law, like if Coke tried to buy Pepsi, would it be the same thing?
Correct.
Definitely. 100%. Yes. That would be.
Once it gets to a level of that magnitude, that's when people
there's vertical and horizontal integration, but like yes, basically what you said is a very good example of like when that would be a problem. The reason it might be okay here is because Microsoft makes the hardware, Activision makes the games. That is vertical integration. They're up here, Activision's down here. It would be like if Microsoft tried to buy Sony, well, definitely that is clearly going to be a monopoly. And regulators would probably get in the way of that. But those are like other details that, again, don't really matter to this story.
Can I add another analogy to this?
Please, I would love it.
Okay, all right. Is this like if McDonald's wanted to buy KFC Taco Bell, and then
Well, that's Pepsi.
What about the whole Kentucky Hut?
well, that's what I'm saying. But then
We'll get the Hut in there. Don't.
the
disparage the Hut.
Kentucky Hut, of course.
Yeah.
And then the regulators would be like, no, dog. You got to spin Taco Bell off by itself. That's like what that is.
Kind of similar. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the best analogy is definitely what happened with Disney and ESPN and then Fox Sports. So when Disney spent $50-60 million to buy Fox, that was going to include Fox Sports and all of the regional sports Fox networks. Disney already owned ESPN. So the regulators were like, listen, this massive deal, most of it, I guess we're going to let it pass. But there's no way that we're going to let you have a monopoly on all sports coverage and own these two competing networks, the only two networks that actually compete in this space. And so Disney, got to keep mixing up the companies. Disney had to sell off the sports Fox brands in order to complete that deal.
But does Disney own like Fox, like The Simpsons are on,
Yes.
like that channel, but not Fox News, not Fox Sports? They just own
The local Fox affiliates are still mostly owned by that weird right wing Sinclair network.
Sinclair. Oh, the Ring of Honor company. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's mostly
Is it?
Sinclair.
Okay, that's the only
I
thing.
I think Sinclair bought a
Not
lot of those
anymore. It's
Fox
Comic-Con
networks.
now, but yeah.
Yes. And then Fox News and Fox Sports 1, I think, are still owned by News Corp. I think it's confusing.
That's Rupert Murdoch. Okay.
That's Rupert Murdoch. That's Elon Musk's buddy from the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Right.
Yep, they're best buds. Mr. I hate all media.
Yep. Okay. I think we did a good job kind of breaking that down. It's at least this is
Multiple
Jam, we talked about
analogies.
multiple analogies.
Yeah,
We talk about it
good.
every week.
That was a
Yeah,
back to
and-
school right there, boys.
Hell yeah. It was just nice to talk about something new there for once, because we've been covering the story forever and it's like it hasn't
boy.
moved in quite some time.
I'm
This
just
feels
glad
like
he didn't
okay.
use a wrestling analogy. He was like, "What if
think we started there.
Suplex bought a
We got there.
DDT? Is that
No, we
cool?"
definitely started with a
Suplex
wrestling analogy.
can't buy
with
a
CM Punk.
DDT.
Yeah.
Silly.
Suplex by a DDT. That's stupid, Jeff. Let's not
It
be
is stupid. It is stupid. Exactly. Stupid. Carry on, Grub, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, let's get to some of these other news stories. Sega said Sonic Frontiers greatly exceeded its expectations. Sega Sammy Holdings Executive Vice President Makoto Takahashi and General Manager Nobuuki Yoshi said that despite the critical reception, Sonic Frontiers is performing well. Here's the quote. In terms of the selling price, we temporarily held a sale on Black Friday as per our initial strategy. And this is them talking about how they are going to keep the price pretty high instead of discounting it, but have since returned to the previous price and have been able to achieve results so far while maintaining the price level to a certain extent. Then they said the number of units sold greatly exceeded the full year plan at the beginning of the fiscal year, and we recognize that this is a title that we will continue to sell over the long term based on our sales strategy, such as pricing promotions, blah, blah, blah. Basically what they're getting at is they're very happy with the sales. This is a game that I think they sold 2 million copies, almost 3 million
Ooh.
copies. That's pretty good for Sonic Frontiers. It also is like, man, I remember when I was like, Metroid Dread came out. I'm like, man, I wish that game would sell gangbusters. And I'm like, oh, I got disappointed when it didn't sell over 3 million copies. It's like, turns out for Sonic Frontiers, that's really good. I'm like, okay, that's good to know, to keep things at a reality check. But we are going to get a lot more Sonic Frontiers content and probably sequels. This seems like the future of Sonic going
Sonic's
forward.
back,
Speaking
baby.
of Sonic content, I mean, that's the one I'm playing on Thursday, right? Is Sonic Frontiers?
No.
Yes. Or no, you're playing Sonic 06.
I thought I beat that.
No, you didn't.
No, you
No,
definitely did
no.
not. And nice
No.
try, though. Nice try.
Yeah,
You definitely did
seriously.
not.
Even I picked up on that. Get the fuck
Yeah,
out of here.
you got to go with Silver and or Shadow, whichever one's the next character to the right, baby.
Oh,
We're going right back to Sonic 06.
You
I
got
beat
to end with
Bubsy
Shadow.
3D.
You got to end with Shadow.
Oh,
And
there we go.
I follow the law, and whatever is next on the character select screen is next up.
You've never beaten a game in Blight Club. I
The Law
beat
of
Bubsy
Sonic.
3D. This is messed up that I had to beat a game before you did. I don't know how that ended up happening, but
It's different campaigns. If Shadow was in Bubsy, we could trade off after that.
I meant to try that 2-player mode. We should have set that up.
I'm
That's
sure
how we
it's
should have
great.
ended that last thing.
It's
Never
probably
touching
really
Bubsy 3D again. Miyamoto said that Nintendo is, quote, always working on Mario. Miyamoto talked to Ishin about Super Nintendo World. When asked about Mario games, he said that the company doesn't have anything to share right now, but that doesn't mean we'll never get another Mario. And then I've written here, you baby brain, no object permanence having idiots, because, of course, just because you can't see a Mario doesn't mean another Mario isn't coming. We're always working on Mario, he said. So when we get to a time when we can share information, we'll certainly do so. Can you imagine like asking that question and getting that like, oh, honey, we're always working on Mario.
Listen, you idiot. Of course we're working on Mario.
It's like,
We're
I'm
Nintendo.
sure,
We're the Mario factory.
I'm sure the person asked that question is like, I didn't mean, I know you're working on another Mario. I wanted more information. You know, it's like, oh, honey. Sid is back at it. New Civilization game is in the works. Firaxis announced that Steve Martin is leaving. This is the studio head who worked on 32 games over 27 years. Jake Sullivan, meanwhile, who was the creative director on XCOM and Midnight Suns, is leaving after 23 years as part of Firaxis' efforts to sort of alleviate concerns about these two key people leaving the studio. They said, hey, don't worry, we got another Civilization coming. I'm a Civilization fan. I'm excited about this, but I also wonder what's going on with these people leaving this company, especially after Midnight Suns, a game that they said explicitly underperformed their expectations. This is probably a little bit like the studios at a crossroads, and these people that were there for a long time were like, it's probably time to move on, right?
Yeah, they just didn't like cards.
Right. They joined the growing list of people who just don't like cards and games. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Rovio is delisting the original Angry Birds from Google Play Store. Basically, it's a weird one. I'll read the quote. We have reviewed the business case of Rovio Classics Angry Birds, and due to the game's impact on our wider games portfolio, we have decided that Rovio Classics Angry Birds will be unlisted from the Google Play Store on Thursday, February 23rd. So in 2 days.
What?
It will remain playable for gamers that have already downloaded it. So it's going to go away, which this happens to mobile games all the time. It's crazy. But Angry Birds, you would think that's one that could just last, but not even Angry Birds.
There's going to be like 14 versions of it, though, right?
Yeah, what's the
tons of
real
sequels, yes.
reason, though?
Right. What is the business case? What is the effect on the wider games portfolio?
Is it like too old? Is it too old and shitty? Like,
is it like people want to play Angry Birds, so they just go play this old version that they can get that they probably already own?
Right.
So they just re-download that.
Yeah,
and what we really want you to do is get the new one that has monetization and gotcha and all these other things.
It's too cheaply and conveniently scratches the Angry Birds itch and is therefore unusable for us.
Please, Bakalar. It's not cheap mechanics. It's cheap mechanics because they're birds.
There you go. Good job.
Well done. Microsoft is raising the price of the Xbox Series X and S in Sweden. This comes about a month after they did this in Japan. The Series S was about $347 in Sweden. It's now about $377. The Series X was $551 approximately. Now it's $600. This is in contrast to Sony, which raised their price across the board except for in the United States. Microsoft seems to be like looking around market by market and saying, all right, because of the exchange rates, we really do have to do something here. But it seems like they're trying to avoid the bad headline of across the board, Microsoft's raising the price of the Xbox. I don't know if that's working. It still feels like, well, every time that this is going to mean multiple times a year, we're going to see Microsoft raise prices of Xbox Series X and S in just one territory. And people are going to look around. Does that mean they're raising it here or not? But it's unavoidable with the way, the exchange markets are working. You just can't, it doesn't make sense for these companies to be operating in a lot of these territories when they spend all this effort and then they actually end up losing a lot of money because of the currencies. So it makes sense. It's probably going to keep happening. Blumhouse, which I discovered is pronounced Blumhouse, is getting into games. The movie studio responsible for Paranormal Activity, The Purge, Insidious, the Halloween reboots, and Get Out. It is opening what is called Blumhouse Games. These will be original horror-themed games. And it will have indie level budgets, which they say is about $10 million, which, boy, that seems like a lot of money for an indie game, but I guess that's where we're at now. This is going to be similar to their film like structure, where they try to make indie movies that can have a chance to make lots and lots of money. They're going to go for something similar here. But because they're original titles, that means we're probably not going to get the video game version of Get Out, which makes sense. That would increase the cost a lot because you got to pay, the creators of Get Out a bunch of money, and they don't want to be, strapped to that. And I think this is something that could still work. I think this idea of interesting horror games from a similar creative idea of Blumhouse, like that could work in games, right?
Totally. I mean, the inverse of that happens with Annapurna, right? Annapurna funds indie movies.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. So go both ways.
I like it.
I love Blumhouse.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like $10 million though. It does. I mean, that's, I guess, games take years to make, even indie games, and you got to pay a lot of people a lot of money. So I guess $10 million does make sense. But man, it had not occurred to me that $10 million is what people would think would be a budget for an indie game anymore.
I think for a film, $10 million budget would be maybe on like the higher end of indie, but
yes, I think so.
Was Mithrigan Blumhouse?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes, it was. I think Megan, Mithrigan,
Mithrigan.
I gotta watch Mithrigan, man.
I think it was. I can't remember.
It is, yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Thank you.
No More Robots boss continues to want to put every game on Game Pass. Mike Rose, who is the boss of this publishing studio, No More Robots, that works with a lot of indie game studios, he's always been a big supporter of Game Pass, and he's out there sort of reiterating that on Twitter. He has implied multiple times that that Game Pass is hugely important to making indie development make sense for him and his studios. He reiterated with these quotes: "Every time Game Pass is in the news, my Descenders search fills," which is Descenders is one of the games that he's put on Game Pass previously. The mentions for that game from people on both sides try to explain why Descenders is proof of their own claim about Game Pass. Every single time, oh boy, do I learn that gamers do not understand how video games work at all. All I can say is we're aiming to get every game we publish from now on onto Game Pass. In doing so, we'll secure success for each title and relieve immense pressure for the devs. But please, gamers, continue to explain why it's bad for us. This continues to be like the occasional door cracking open on what is happening behind closed doors with Game Pass. We don't know any of the contracts, any of the deals, how any of that stuff works. It does seem to be case by case. Every game is different. But in general, like all we can really see is a lot of times a developer will put their game into Game Pass, or a publisher will do so. And then a few months later, a couple years later, they'll go back and do the same thing again. So it's like, okay, well, they must be seeing some positive thing there because they repeat that. And so hearing this from like an indie publisher, it does seem like, okay, for them, it makes a lot of sense. But I still feel like we have no idea really how Game Pass works in terms of developers making money. It just seems like they do.
None of it feels real.
Yeah, it all feels, it feels kind of like ephemeral. Yeah. Return to Silent Hill starts filming soon. This is Christoph Gahn, I think is the name of the director. He did the first one. They announced previously that he was going to work on this sequel at that Silent Hill event from a few months ago. They said, filming's going to start soon, and they made the big log line of, and Pyramid Head is back. So get excited about that, everybody. I don't know.
Cool.
Yeah, you're into this, right? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I Dan or Jan?
Jan, sorry.
Oh, okay. I know that Jess had her feelings on the original movie, but I feel like Christoph Gans has grown as a filmmaker. At least he's gone better at implementing CGI. And I don't know. It could be fine. It could be good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. Maybe he's actually played the games now, and now he knows. Oh shoot!
Crazy.
Okay, all right.
Final story here: Street Fighter 6 tournament has got the fighting game community up in arms in a very positive way. Capcom, as part of an effort to get Street Fighter 6 just up to pop when it launches, they've announced that the Capcom Cup X tournament, one of their big annual tournaments, is going to have a prize pool of $2 million for Street Fighter 6, meaning the winner will get $1 million. This is a big prize. It's never been this large for any fighting game. So that's very exciting to a lot of people in that space. I think it's going to create a lot of fun competition. And I hope this isn't just like a one-off thing. I hope Capcom can keep supporting it. But I think this also clearly shows a ton of confidence in Street Fighter 6. And it's got me super excited to see that game. So very cool stuff out of there.
I'm gonna enter it
My
in.
Tyson training to Street Fighter training for that
Oh,
amount of time. Could I win $1 million?
Let's
Yes,
do it.
Dan.
No, you're okay.
Yes.
Well, I mean, what do they give the 55th best person?
Like $300,
Hey,
but hey,
What do you get? Like one of those big old checks that says $11? Cool, man.
yeah.
We need
you
a
could probably pay
tournament
for your flight.
arc. You know?
Yes.
The Giant Bomb tournament arc. I love it. It is cool to see all the fighting game pros talking about this, about being like a watershed moment and being very important to them. Of course, it is. To be cynical about it, it's marketing, but that doesn't like the reality is that money's still green. Everyone who's competing for it's still going to get to spend it just fine. So this is very cool. A lot of people from other fighting game communities. I specifically saw some Smash Bros. Pros being like, imagine if Nintendo did even a fifth of the support like that. And it's
seriously.
they don't and won't. But
Oh man.
yeah,
I would drink so much liquid out of a Capcom cup.
and yeah. Is it like a
What
big
would be the
Stanley
best
Cup? Is
thing
that
to drink
big
out of
one?
a Capcom cup?
What's the little? Are they serve bots in Mega Man?
Yeah.
Like a one of those boys.
The Mega Man Legends thing?
Yeah, one of
Yeah,
those.
what would you
guys.
Like
drink
the
out of
blue-
it? What's the most Capcom drink?
Jesus.
What, is there like a blue Mountain Dew that's kind of the same blue as the energy tanks, the E-tanks from Mega
I
Man?
like that.
Blast
E-Tank
isn't-
Blue.
E-Tank
Blue.
Blue.
Tank Blue, maybe Blumhouse
Is
Blast.
it like there's like a high C?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably some like yellow Resident Evil slime.
Get like
The green-
Ecto Cooler, and it's like the green Healy juice from Resident Evil.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, I like
or
that.
like the layered one that's like yellow, red, and green. Some
Oh,
sort
it's like
of
one of those fancy
parfait.
cocktails where it's like
Yeah.
it sits on top of each. Yeah,
Oh.
that'd be good. It's
That'd
like
be
a
good.
mixed herb thing. Yeah.
That was easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad we figured that out. That does it for the news I have. It seems like things are going to pick up here again pretty soon as these events start rolling out again. But yeah, and as this Activision story continues to unfold, we'll keep up with it. But Jen, I'm going to hand this show back over to you now.
I'm going to take this show and I'm going to realize I need to have some intimate time with the refrigerator behind me. We're going to cool off
Ooh.
the show. We're going to take a break because we can't. No version of this show could we show the fridge stuff that's bound to happen. So we're going to take a quick break. I think Dan's going to show his fridge.
Yeah, fuck that icebox.
That's right. Call me Omarion, because I got an icebox where my heart used to be. And we're going to fade to black, take a quick break, and be back to read some email. And we are back with a giant bombcast. And, gentlemen, are you ready to read some emails?
Oh yeah.
These are the emails
Yes.
for the show. Emails. You can send your emails about your... Don't send any emails about fornicating with your fridge or any other appliances. It's just not going to go well. I'm just going to say it's not going to go well. I mean, okay, you can pull a drink out of the fridge and that'll be fine. That'll be a good time. But anything
That's
else
basically the
afterwards-
equivalent of giving birth. You pull something out of the fridge and
I mean,
I'm sorry.
You put it in, then you pull it out.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to say the sentence, but my pull-out game with the fridge is real strong.
My goodness.
Yeah, getting the milk out of the
Yeah.
fridge.
Okay, all right. First email.
Almond milk.
I can't get down with nut milk.
Oh shit, that's right. Oh, Jen, I have something to admit, buddy.
Oh no, what do we do now, Bakalar?
I don't like oat milk.
I love oat milk.
It's all the same.
Yeah, it's all the same.
I like almond
Oat,
better.
almond, full 2%, vitamin D. It's all the same
Okay.
shit.
That is so psychotically inaccurate.
Taste test it all. Skim, put every fucking type of milk in front of me. I won't.
Dude,
it's all
you're
the same.
born-
shit.
your
So you
fucking tongue
being
doesn't
a
work.
child mouth is not evidence of anything.
Yeah, like, come on,
I
that
can't
proves
tell
All
the
I know
difference.
is what
really.
I know, and I know that every milk I've ever tried tastes the exact same.
Okay, well that's
I think I could
so
I could
clearly
feel that. That one's
wrong.
different from that one. I wouldn't know which one's which. That's
That
for
is-
sure.
That's so it's stupefyingly ridiculous. Oat milk does not taste the same as whole cow's milk.
Yeah, it does.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That hurts. That hurts so bad. Anyway, Jen, I know almonds are like public enemy number one
They're
in
destroying my
California.
state.
Destroying the California ecosystem.
But you know what? It rains in New Jersey. We don't understand what that's like. And it's just
Are
I
almonds
love
controversial?
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
They
require
all
a
the
lot of
water in California. It all goes to almonds instead of human beings.
Is there
these-
still a drought out there? There was when I lived there.
There's always going
always
to be
gonna
a
be
drought.
one.
There's always
It
going to be a
doesn't
drought.
rain there, Dan.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you can't use the ocean water, just so you know.
So almonds are hogging all the water out there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
almonds are hogging all the
Literally.
water. Yeah,
Yeah,
actually.
They're
Yeah.
water
It
hogs.
takes a ton of water to make one almond, and then it takes even more water to make almond milk.
I
Pretty
literally
fucked up,
just
actually.
ran back. I had a handful of almonds in every break I've taken during this podcast. I
listen.
get the blue diamond ones with the extreme, like cayenne pepper and stuff.
Extreme water.
That's my thing.
Each almond
they're
you
good
eat,
as hell.
Dan, is how many less showers I can take. So just keep that in mind.
So I'm just
Your
gonna not
shower
talk
works
about.
fine. They're just
what I
trying to
put-
scare
It
you.
works.
Yeah,
It works, but it's taking water away from everyone.
They are literally trying to scare you. Yes, that is exactly what they're trying to do.
almonds are good for you. Let's not forget
These
that.
almond
Yeah, that's
scare
what I mean.
tactics, you know?
I went to
No,
Costco. I bought
Bub,
a
I got-
shitload of almonds.
I moved to Ohio up to Lake Erie because I'm like, oh man, fresh water in case the water wars begin. I'll just walk there and go get some water. And then that stupid train fell
Yeah.
and like dumped a bunch of toxic chemicals in Lake Erie again. Man, I can't catch a break.
Question, and I know this is
Please.
a dumb question, but I want to
No.
I want to understand why
No,
it's
no.
dumb.
Oh no.
You know those life straws?
Yes.
You know the things where you can just like
Yeah,
put
yeah.
it in a
Oh.
puddle of shit water and it turns
Yeah,
it
Yeah,
into
you mean
pristine.
lies? You mean those
Yeah.
lies? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it just makes it perfect water.
Yeah, it doesn't.
For all the places that are short on water and stuff, like what is the reasoning? Somebody tell me the science behind it. I know this isn't possible. I know this, but I want to know why it's impossible. Why can't we just take like a big life straw and put it in the ocean
Life straws don't
and
work.
drain it into a tank, and like in SimCity when you just have the water go all the way to wherever?
Well,
Like,
first off,
why won't
first
that
off-
work?
First off, I
What?
think you
Life
need
straws don't
to.
work.
I think you need to establish that a life straw is literally like for the lowest pot. Like it's for like survival, right? Like
Oh,
it is
You're
not,
not
to make
converting
like
large amounts of water.
yeah.
And
You're
it
not.
won't
Doesn't have to get a little bit in you.
It's not going to desalinate the ocean. We can desalinate the ocean, turn it into freshwater, Dan. It takes a ton of energy to the point where it's worth it to go to the other side of the earth. It's worth it to get water from Iceland. It's a better deal to do that than to go right outside of the ocean and desalinate it because it requires so much energy.
But if it
eventually-
takes a lot of
eventually it'll
energy,
change.
you can do the hydro, like the big water wheels, and like you can make energy from water. So is there any way we can make a giant facility that is like sustaining the energy?
Yes, that'd be billions of dollars. Sure, yeah, we could, and we will
We
eventually.
have billions of dollars.
Oh yeah, everyone with all the
I said
money.
yes. I said yes.
Everyone with all the money is obviously doing all that. They obviously are making.
They
They're
should
solving.
be.
All, yeah, they're
There's
solving
enough
all the
money out
world's
there, just do
problems.
it.
Yeah, they're
Water's
not
more
trying to
important
like.
than money.
They're not trying to
Am I
like
crazy in
race
saying-
to another planet or fucking
crazy?
do anything else or
I
buy
crazy in
fucking social
saying-
media companies because they're petulant little bitches.
That is
Well,
true
$1 billion
about
to
him,
ruin
yeah.
a website.
Yeah.
Is it true? Can we all agree water is more important than money?
Much more important.
Listen,
We're unanimous on that.
Hey,
Yeah,
in
but that's-
water
we don't
world,
have
it's
the money.
very important.
Yeah.
But you could pee into a thing in water world and then turn it into good. So like, can we make that
Okay.
technology? Like, is there a way
yes.
to make the ocean the water we need?
Yes.
yes.
Then why aren't we putting money towards that?
Because of well, I don't want to just say capitalism, but that is why.
Yeah.
But if,
because
if
it's not-
it's dire, if it's
Because
dire
of
that like if
greed.
California doesn't have
Well,
water,
because
that should be a
it's obviously-
priority, right?
Dude, Dan, why do we have to once again, time and time again, explain how the fucking planet works?
Where's the back to school
It just
intro?
seems like there are easier solutions that if we just put money in the right places, we could solve a lot of problems.
No shit.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not mad
do we
at you,
do that?
Dan. I'm not mad at you, Dan.
Son, I'm not mad at you.
I'm not
I'm
mad
saying
at
when,
you.
when I run for office, it's just going to be like,
Oh,
hey,
shit.
there are solutions for these things. We just
Cool.
got to put money in the
Correct.
right places.
Yes.
So
Yes.
why aren't we doing it? Why are we being idiots? Why are we like, if we can make water,
shoot
oh,
New
it's
Deal.
expensive. Well, then let's
Because
fucking
of-
spend the money on the water.
Because of like unbridled psychotic greed.
Well, lock them up.
Cool. Okay. You could just be like the
Fucking A,
world
I'm
top.
voting for Dan Reichert.
Yeah, see, this is how I win.
Oh, I got the intro. I finally found it.
Happens.
Oh my god. It's just like
Oh, none
look,
of you can hear it.
I think that's a good spot for
I
me to
heard a little bit.
bounce. I'm not gonna lie. I just love like how many times has Dan realized that he's a socialist? I love it. I just fucking love it. I have so many receipts of Dan being like, wait a second here. Anyway, I really do have to.
It's
I
incredible
don't have
watching
labels.
Rocky
I'm just a
IV.
common sense man. I'm just a simple
Yeah,
common
uh-huh.
sense man.
The
All
Bernie
right?
Sanders of the website, Dan Reichert.
I watched him watch Rocky IV, and he's just like, "Yeah, murder that commie bastard" the entire time. It's really, really good.
Man, I do. There is someone we could spend a lot of time coming up with the series where you, at the end of every episode, realize you're a socialist. That'd be fucking
No labels. I'm just a common sense man.
Chef's kiss. That's
I'm running on the common sense party of 2042 or whatever. when I
CSP.
become president
2042. Jeez.
or whatever. I don't know. Am I going to be dead?
I know
then?
you.
What's-
Who knows when you'll be
what is that,
Tyson? by
20?
then.
No, we
You'll
all
have
will
to-
be, but yeah, you'll still be going.
You have to budget your time. I have to go for real. Goodbye, everyone. I love you very much. Smell
Thanks,
you later.
Bakalar.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Bakalar. Oh, wow, this messed up my whole layout. Never mind.
Man, you guys are vertical now.
There we go. Okay, cool.
Ooh, somebody in
Uh,
the chat says, I'm a commonist. I'm a common sensist.
I like that. That's a fun
We
platform.
should be putting our money towards the problems. That's not crazy.
I just realized looking at the screen now, the three of us are the Sonic colors.
Hell yeah, I'm Sonic.
Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. Jesus Christ, this is how this website actually does work. Bakalar is wearing black. He's Shadow the Hedgehog. It works.
Yep, perfect.
Oh boy! All right,
He's got a gun.
let's read an email, I guess. First one, it comes from Dave. Entitled, subject reads Banana Bread. I listen on Spotify while working, and clearly my focus is 100% on you guys because at the 43:41 mark of the episode 776, Jan just says banana bread randomly. Now maybe I'm missing a context or something because I must admit I'm just a podcast listener and haven't explored your additional content, but was wondering, do you guys ever just throw in Easter eggs for the audience to find? Along the same lines, have you found any recent Easter eggs in games that just made you go, huh, that's interesting? Thanks,
Now,
Dave.
I think I've put together what banana bread is, but I knew never to ask, and I'm wondering, are you going to explain it, or are you just going to continue leaving it as it is?
Oh, I'll explain it.
Okay.
So banana bread originally started. We were interviewing the developer of Spy Party, and then I think it was a code word. If someone was a spy, a character in the game would say banana bread, and then good old Benji P started saying banana bread whenever he'd have to pee.
Right.
And then we just adopted that in the West Coast studio. And I 100% understand if folks that are only podcast listeners completely missed that. So that is the
Yes,
origin of
Spy Party.
banana bread.
Yes,
It's also
and pee,
delicious.
it means you're going to pee right now. So yes, that's
yeah.
what it means from now on.
All right. We've been talking a lot about deer and roadkill recently on the website, as we do. I like that there are certain sagas or eras that populate the email and voicemail dump truck. We're currently in our deer era. Hey, gang. In last week's Bombcast, Bakalar made it sound like... Oh, yeah. I guess we've come back home. In last week's Bombcast, Bakalar made it sound like New Jersey is packed wall-to-wall with deer. I had never thought of it as a deer state, so I decided to crunch some numbers for science to see if I was wrong. I took the land area for each state in square miles from Wikipedia, then grabbed the only per-state estimate of deer I could find, A to Z animals. I sorted the results for the highest number of deer per land square mile, and I thought I'd share the top and bottom 5 with you. If you want, you can also make Bakalar guess. All right, let's play this game. This is my favorite type of email where someone does an obscene amount of work. Oh,
Yes.
he's
He's here.
here.
Coming back just because I'm coming. I need to talk about the deer situation here. Okay.
Guys, everyone, he doesn't understand. He doesn't care about anything more than he cares about the deer situation in New
It is
Jersey.
an epidemic.
I have
Jersey.
a meeting in 60 seconds. But listen, okay. I read the email ahead of time and I forgot I was going to miss it. I like the science he did here, but it's imperfect, okay? Because there's deer, like this doesn't cover the fact that New Jersey is so small. It's
Per square mile, isn't it?
yes, but all the deer, none of the deer are like in parts of like the swamp
Okay, fair enough.
of southern Jersey, which is like all
You're right.
you know what I'm saying? So like they're all top loaded where I am. And there's a shit ton of deer. And also, look, I don't want to fuck up the whole email. I do have to bounce, but I just want to say I appreciate that this emailer did the science for it. A lot of respect from me for doing that. There's a shit ton of deer in New Jersey.
I just read the bonus on this email, and this is incredible. I can't wait till we get here. Okay.
Okay, here, do it real quick. Go.
Okay. So top 5 states with deer: Wisconsin with 29.54, Pennsylvania, Alabama, Michigan, and number 1, which I guess has the most deer, right? Is
Most deer
Mississippi
per square mile.
Per square mile. Mississippi has 37.29 deer per square mile. The bonus fact being Washington, D.C. has 163.8 deer per square mile, which the National Park Service has officially called too many. I shared this with friends who live there, and they all have deer encounter stories in the city.
In the city's crazy.
Yeah.
That's messed up. That's crazy. I will say that I grew up in Michigan, and there are several deer in Michigan. There's dozens at least, maybe more.
Maybe it turns out that like there's deer everywhere. Like even Alaska, which is 0.6, like still not nothing. Like there's deer everywhere. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're like rats, right? They just can survive everywhere. They just scavenge.
They're big 600-pound rats. Anyway, I have to go. They're terrible.
Bakalar.
Goodbye.
There's a wide variety in how they act, though, because like most places I've been, they're very skittish, and if you get within like 150 feet, they're taken off, like including here. But in Pennsylvania, when I go there, it's like they will come right up to you and eat, pretzels out of your hand. They're not afraid of people at all. So same animal, but act totally differently.
I think in California, I might be misremembering this, but I think we had a burro problem, like a donkey problem for a while. A bunch of jackasses, and
just running around.
I think it was in Death Valley. There are too many donkeys, and they didn't know how to solve it because they didn't want to kill the donkeys because donkeys are just, well, there you are, type of animals.
Yeah, that was always sad when I remember I would hear that like in Kansas there would get to be too many deer like around like the suburbs and stuff, and they would like need to like kill deer. And I remember hearing like, no, actually it's good. Like it needs to happen. It's overpopulation. But it just seemed like, I don't know. It seemed fucked up to me.
In Death Valley, there are too many deer. Sounds like a Chuck Palahniuk book. I don't know.
It probably already is. And the bottom
probably.
5 for people curious is 46. We got North Dakota, Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, and then at 50, Alaska with 0.6 deer per square mile. Those some cold ass deer, dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Jersey ranks number
though, probably.
Jersey ranks at number 24. Matt from Colorado, who sent this all in, also sent in their spreadsheet. Very extensive work, and we thank you for your hard deer crunching numbers over there. I've never had deer. Should I eat deer?
It's good.
Get some deer jerky. Yeah, deer jerky's great.
Oh,
it's good.
I've had deer jerky. Deer jerky.
And venison and like
Venison, sure, yeah.
Good.
Is veal deer?
I think that's a seal.
No. Okay, well, that's just the most insane thing you've actually ever said.
I thought veal was baby seal. I thought that was why, or am I just thinking that because it rhymes? What is veal? What is baby seal? Why am I thinking baby seals?
Definitely not baby seal.
It's just because it rhymes with seal?
Not that.
Veal is not seal?
No. What is it? God, what is it? I know you've broken my brain. Yeah, baby cow. Yes,
Baby
it's baby cow.
Oh, why do they specifically do the baby cow thing?
Well,
babies taste the most delicious.
That's what isn't venison? Isn't that baby deer?
Venison is deer, right?
I can't keep it all straight. Maybe I'm thinking.
What's the one you're not? What's the thing that people will look at you funny if you order? Is
I
it
think
veal?
it's veal.
Because it's baby cow. So, but it's not a baby seal.
No,
It's definitely not baby seal. I promise you.
What does
you've
baby
never
seal
eaten
call
baby
if you get it
seal.
at a restaurant?
It's called a crime.
I don't.
Are they
think
endangered?
Well, I think it's just
Probably.
frowned upon.
Wait. Hang on. Then this concept. Why are some animals okay to eat, but some are
We
not?
can't get into this.
Well, okay, it's
Wait, no.
cultural.
Why would a cow be? Everyone's like, delicious, but then a seal's like, no.
Well, no, baby cow people are not delicious. It's unethical. Like
I'm
usually
cow,
it's
I'm
unethically
not a quarter
sourced.
pounder.
Oh, that's just because we're bad and hypocritical across the board. You're right.
Yeah.
Yes,
But-
you nailed it.
But seals are not endangered, and we're not supposed to eat. I've never eaten a seal. I don't want to. I'm just curious why you're not supposed to eat seal. Because I thought that's
you're
what
not
veal.
supposed to. There's no rules. There's no one. It's
yeah.
all made up.
I think seals
And-
are. I kind of go with what Cathart says in chat because seals are cuter. But there's cute cows out there.
Cows are cute as hell.
Yeah, I didn't want the Bombcast to become this existential, and here we are. Of course we are. Thanks, Dan.
Dan, do you know what foie gras is?
That's like when you. It's like a fancy word for appetizers when they bring something around on the metal plate at a fancy thing.
No.
What am I thinking of?
Appetizers.
No, there's like tiny like finger food.
hors d'oeuvres. You're thinking of hors d'oeuvres.
That's it. Okay. What is foie gras? Wah, 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 wah. Sounds like the guy from Rising Sun. Wah, 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 wah. What did we say before hors d'oeuvres?
What is foie gras?
What the fuck is foie gras?
I actually don't know. I think it's duck. Is it duck?
Yes. It is force-fed duck liver. It's like you keep a duck and you just keep feeding it, and that's why it's like,
Fucked up
should we
stuff
eat
to
See,
that?
I don't like fucked up food like that. That's sad. I don't like that.
Yeah. I promise you that chicken is also sad no matter what. But
I'm sure it's all, if you look into it enough, is pretty sad.
All
Yeah,
of it is.
it
We
is.
should all probably be vegetarians like
Yes, for
90%
sure.
of the time.
I ate a lot of quinoa. Wait, is quinoa sad? Is there something I don't know where it's like, it's like baby llama eyeballs or something? Like,
Well, it's probably like almonds, right? It probably destroys the ecology of like wherever they grow it, right? So I mean, yeah.
So what is
It's
quinoa?
fucked across the board?
Is quinoa raising taxes in Canada or something? Like, what's problematic about quinoa?
I hope quinoa is not problematic. I'm going to hope that it is
I eat a lot of quinoa and I feel good about it.
Really, really racist, I think.
Quinoa's racist.
Yeah.
Oh,
quinoa's
I'm sorry,
very
Cam.
racist. Said
Quinoa
some
burned your house down.
mean stuff.
Right. Yeah. Quinoa's
wait-
great. I love quinoa.
Okay, hold on. I just have to type now. Is quinoa problematic? Is quinoa
Hit us with the results there.
problematic?
Oh, wait, we got a link here. The ethical reason why you should stop eating quinoa. God damn it.
yes.
Dang it.
What the fuck is quinoa doing? What can you eat? What is it?
Wait, what? Man, this starts with, let's go back to 2012. A time when
This is
Kim
too long.
had
This
just
is too
started
much to
dating
read.
Kanye, and I'm like, oh, great, here we go.
Oh boy.
All right, what do I like to eat? Wheat thins. Is there any problem with wheat thins?
I mean, wheat.
I eat a ton of wheat thins every day.
Okay, I mean, like wheat and anything that's a grain in general is basically almost a parasite. We human beings were happier. Like if we're gonna ask this question, let's go down it. Human beings as a species were undeniably happier before we became an agricultural species. Back when we were hunter gatherers, we worked for like 2-3 hours a week. And we had like small family units, but it was closer. Communities were smaller, much more close knit. Then we became agricultural. We were able to feed a ton more people, but it was because we became addicted to grain. And now most of the world is covered in, well, not most of the world, but like grain is just, it covers so much land. And it's because we've become addicted to it as a species. We need it. And so we're like, it's this thing that actually controls us more than we control it. So if you want to look at it that way, it's pretty messed up.
I'm sorry to do this because I know this is probably a whole different path, but so I grew up in Kansas and there were cornfields everywhere. And you talking about grain covering a lot of land. Is grain corn?
Yes. So corn is the only reason that
oh shit! I thought that was gonna be a fucked up dumb question.
No. Corn is in everything. That's exactly it. Like the only reason we are able to live in North America is because the Native Americans domesticated maize and turned it into something we could eat. 1,000 to 10,000 years ago, whatever it is, and that now we basically have to put corn in everything because it's the only thing that we can get enough calories from in an efficient way to feed all the people that actually are in North America. Other continents, it is like wheat or rice. Those are all the equivalents, but here it's corn.
Okay, so it's an efficient, just like to keep people alive and feed them. It's like you got an upgrade to your ore refinery in Command and Conquer, and now it's more efficient, right? That's what corn is.
Yes, because otherwise it takes a lot of energy to like just get a certain number of calories. But corn, you could just grow a ton of it, and then you could turn it into high fructose corn syrup and put it in everything as the sweetener, and we don't get sugar anymore or anything.
That's bad.
Yes, because corn isn't nutritious for you.
Yeah.
But corn, like shoot
calories.
corn, just eating it off the goddamn knob there, that's good for you, right? That's just a vegetable.
That's just sustenance.
Okay,
it's not great for you, but it's also
really okay.
It's whatever. Yeah, it's about the equivalent of wheat or rice.
Yeah. Somehow I don't know how we got to socialism and the ethics of food consumption.
You Googled is quinoa problematic? That's where we got. That's where this show went.
Hey, there's a couple more minutes on the.
Any problem with oatmeal? I have oatmeal every morning.
Probably killed a man.
Dan, the unfortunate reality and truth is that everything somehow is unethical.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Even cheese.
Don't tell me peanut butter. Don't tell me there's anything wrong about peanut butter, because that has been.
No, peanut butter literally does kill a man. It kills kids all the time because there's a bunch of kids allergic to peanuts.
Right, but if you're not, if you don't have that, it's all good, right?
Literally hand waving child death.
Mr. Skippy isn't running around with a knife. Like, You know, it's not like
This is
murder.
all
Oh my
baby
God,
nuts
Snickers
fault.
bar. It'll fucking kill these kids. It's wild out there,
But
man.
it's not murder. Peanut butter isn't sentient. Like peanut butter didn't do that. It's an illness.
I mean,
it's an
do we know
in,
that?
in the first draft of The Last of Us, it wasn't fungi; it was just legumes taking over
Damn,
the
I love
world.
peanut butter.
How do you say it? Legumes?
Legumes. Legumes.
I've never known. I've seen it written down. I've never really heard it.
Winship says Jello is fine, and let me tell you, buddy, Jello is not fine.
It's pig bones, right?
Yeah, it's
Like what?
yeah, gelatin
Jello's-
comes from like I don't want to say the marrow, but it comes from like bone stuff.
Yeah.
From
Wait.
horses.
I know there's gelatin in the ingredients of like Skittles and Starburst and stuff. There's no like fucking pig organs in my Starburst, right?
I think it's
going in.
horses.
I don't want
There's
any
pig
animals touching my
organs
fucking Skittles or
in
Starburst.
Well, I don't think they have
I'm
a
not,
choice.
I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
I choose to believe it's just fun fruit flavor.
Right, that's right. Marshmallows, because they contain gelatin, also are messed up. Okay, well let's just read the last email of the show. Let's just read the last email.
As long as it doesn't fuck up Starburst for me.
Wow. The list of body parts.
No! Shut up, Grub!
I'm gonna put an image on the screen that accompanies this email. Grub and Dan, it's the images in the email doc.
What is this?
Josh from Ottawa writes in, "Hey Bomb Crew, why is Waluigi in the spin-off to Paw Patrol called Rubble and Crew? Is Nintendo not paying him the big bucks, or is he just making guest appearances now?" I've added the picture, by the way. This got me thinking, which video game character would make a good guest appearance in a kid's TV show or animated TV show? Should Tom Nook be taking bells from Peppa Pig's family? Should Thomas the Tank Engine have to escape the clutches of Choo Choo Charles? What are your picks? Feel free to pick cartoons or shows skewed to older audiences if you like. Josh from Ottawa, and this image looks like Waluigi before he became Waluigi.
It really it looks like a CG, like DreamWorks, like prequel Waluigi story.
He's in college. He grew a soul patch.
Yeah.
Like this is before he figured out the dangers of capitalism and unethical food consumption.
Right.
And then he became an
pure.
eco-terrorist.
Yes. I'd say Pyramid Head
Yeah.
In what?
in kids shows.
Oh,
Just all of them.
In the world,
randomly.
you got to teach them somehow,
Yeah.
right?
But just like there's no warning. You never know which kid's show he's going to be. Just in one of these shows today, Pyramid Head is going to show
You hear
up.
Radio Static on Paw Patrol, and all of a sudden, fucking Pyramid Head comes in.
Yeah.
I don't want to imagine the episode of Bluey where Pyramid Head comes in. The theme
I
song.
want to see Yoshi wearing like a tank top on an episode of Cops, and he's like being like they're breaking into his house or whatever and arresting
Cops
him.
is a
and-
kid show, you're saying?
Yeah.
No, just they said I could do one of those skewed towards adults, right? Well,
I meant-
watched
oh,
Cops as a kid.
Okay.
I did
yeah.
too. It was awesome.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, totally.
Give me, I don't know, Unsolved Mysteries with Birdo.
As
Or
the
no,
host,
no.
Birdo
Oh.
is Robert Stack
No, Toad is Robert Stack. Just like Toad in like a little trench
with the
coat.
same cadence.
Birdo does all of the reenactments. Just every single scene is with Birdo. Just
Oh my
the big
God.
egg
Every
mouth.
character.
Yeah.
I had access to a building where they would film reenactments to shitty crime shows, and let me tell you, their crafty area was real greasy.
Oh wow.
A lot of fake blood everywhere. It was fun.
Oh sure, yeah.
Gentlemen, what a bombcast this has been. Somehow we've talked about video games and the dangers that humans have foisted upon the world. But that's cool. That's sick.
Humans.
Yeah. You know, I think sometimes, and I've been thinking this lately as I see litter everywhere, the fungus should win. The plants should win.
Although,
The fungus
I
should
like
be
to
among
look
us.
on the bright side, and I did learn during this episode that I guess humans don't eat baby seals, and I'd say that's a plus in the humanity column, right?
Yeah. All right. A check mark for us. Good job, everybody.
Yeah, go humans!
We
We're
done
awesome.
did it. High five across the
Yes.
board. What we got going on for the rest of this week? It's a short week. Yesterday was a holiday here in the States. We celebrated all of the presidents all at once. All 40. I don't know how many presidents. Tomorrow and for the rest of the week, we've got Game Mess Mornings. Correct, Grub?
That's right. We got Game S Mornings. Definitely check that out.
What the fuck?
Yes.
boy.
I'm gonna have.
Look at the
I actually need a guest for tomorrow. I'll figure that out. Yeah. It'll be somebody, and then Jan, you're on Thursday, and then I'm gonna try to get my buddy Dave Tech, who used to be at Polygon. I'm gonna get him
Oh.
on Friday, so look out for that because we got Tam and Lucy are on assignment. So
Yes.
Jan, this was not discussed ahead of time, but is there any reason we shouldn't go ahead and announce what we put it on the upcoming?
Oh, we
A
did.
new series.
Yeah.
Can I talk about it?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
love if you talk about it, Dan. Tell the folks the new show we got going on. Starting, fingers
should be
crossed.
Monday?
Should be Monday.
Should be Monday. So it is a show called Play It Forward. It is a new series. We'll see. We'll shoot for week to week, but the concept is it starts with, I'll tell you right now, the first episode is me and Jan. I am playing. Jan is the passenger. We're playing Alpha Protocol. Now, we chose Alpha Protocol because I was specifically looking for a game where your choices really matter. Because I wanted to do a kind of game of telephone type thing where, okay, so I'm creating this Adam Thornton.
not
Mike,
Adam Jensen.
Mike something, right?
Mike Thornton. Yes, he's very generic, but I tried to make him cool. So
He's really cool.
I make the character. I start putting my points into things. Alpha Protocol has a lot of like conversational things where it's like, oh, you're standing with this person is good or bad. And so, Jan, you were there to witness my choices. And in episode 2, you will be in the driver's seat. I move out. You bring in a new passenger, and you kind of game a telephone, explain what happened before, and then your passenger will take over and then bring on a new passenger and things like that. So basically, it's just going to be this long game of telephone. It's almost in a way like, how like Exquisite Core, you had a different commander each time.
Right.
But that was like, Vinny was there to see it all. Here, it is purely a game of telephone where it's like everyone has just seen one episode back, basically.
Yes.
So please take your notes as you play, as all of us play, and keep telling the tales of our Michael Thornton as it moves on.
Because we're hoping to work its way through the whole staff. So, Dan, it's going to be a hot minute before you get your hands back on good old Michael Thornton. Michael Thornton may have changed in the story he's
and I'm
telling.
asking that all of us don't watch the show. I know, Jane, obviously you'll probably see some having to, edit the stuff. But for the most part, I'm going to try to stay out. So by the time it comes back around to me, it'll be, whoa, what the fuck? I thought I made a cool, martial arts assault rifle guy. And then maybe some skill points and trees and stuff and relationships have gotten fucked up. So that is the plan. So it should start on Monday. We got one in the can. We're going to record some more this week. And Play It Forward. Alpha Protocol starts next week here on Giant Bomb.
And I don't want to spoil anything too much, but it turns out Alpha Protocol, pretty cool game.
I had never played it before. I had a lot of fun playing.
I haven't either.
It's pretty cool. I think it's going to be perfect for this feature.
All right, gentlemen, we got that popping off. We'll also be talking over the state of play and then rolling into the dump truck. This UPF, we're going to kind of do some janitorial duties and maybe cover some games that we've missed out on, perhaps. Well, we have other plans for UPF. We'll see what winds up happening. It's a shorter week for us and whatnot. But until next time.
We got kind of a special dump truck coming up.
Yeah,
actually,
calls.
yes.
707 exit flew call. We got Dan Reichert. We got Snowbike Mike and Mike Minotti. These are all well-known FBI wanted food criminals. And
Yes.
so, but ask anything you want. Ask anything you want. But I want your calls to come in. Some good calls for that. So definitely hit us up with that.
I have never interacted with Snowbike Mike. I have been told by many people that I need to have discussions.
It's going to be crossing the streams and Ghostbusters is what it is going to be.
Snowbike Mike from
really frightened.
Kind of funny.
Kind of funny.
Yes.
Kind of funny.
707 exit flu is the number. No, none of us know what the actual number is. Go figure it out for
Doesn't
yourself.
matter.
Please keep your voicemails sub a minute. It helps get it onto the show. Geez, gosh, wow. It's been a show, gentlemen. I feel like we've all learned a lot.
I don't remember anything we talked about.
No, God, no. Oh, hell, of course not. Of course not. All right. And we'll see you next week for another episode of the Giant Bombcast. Playing the music now. The Giant Bombcast is brought to you by your lovely faces. We love you. Bye. I hate this realization that I'm the tails of the team.